1, 2, 3. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan. One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan.
Okay.
One, two, three.
Don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. I'm a loner, Daddy. A rebel.
Lies on the horizon. Sky is blue, no denying. News with Skyjack Morgan. Bright and early new dawn.
Every headline, every story.
All right.
Gives your morning some glory. Stay informed, stay in tune as the day greets new bloom. Good
Okay, party people.
headlines with Skyjack
This
Morgan.
is
Today just fine. Information for
welcome to
you.
the show, everybody. Welcome. Hot coffee. Let me get my hot coffee. We'll go.
News to fill you right up. Trends and weather on the go. Morning show you need to know.
Hey! All right. This is the show. This is the show. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Shut up. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
And also now
Information for you, darling.
Okay, let's do it.
Coffee in your cup. News to fill you right up. Trends and weather on the go. Morning show you need to know. Songs daily
Too much vegan bullshit.
side by side.
Ah! Hey! All right, what a great day today. That's funny. Hey! Oh, that's funny. I like this. Hold on a second. Too much vegan bullshit. Chris, who is talking? You're the one who brings it up every day. I'm not the one bringing it up. I'm a total liberationist. I don't know why everyone's got to bring it up every day. Good morning, Jenna X-Ray Dragon. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? What's up? What's up? What's up, Alabama anarchist? Already. Mr. Morgan's political expertise. I don't appreciate being insulted. Who's insulting you? If you're insulted, that's not me. That's your conscience, man. Listen to your conscience. You got Jiminy Cricket in there going. That's my best cricket. That's my little cricket. Jiminy Cricket's trying to tell you something, man. It's this whole thing. Don't let Jiminy Cricket get. Don't leave him hanging. Don't leave Jimmy Cricket hanging, man. Don't let him hanging. This is a call-in show. You can call in. Tell me all about it. Call in. Tell me how you think about it. Call in. Tell me how you think about it. How you feel about it. Let's go. It just seems like everyone's just got so many bones to pick today. Get it? Bones to pick because you're eating dead animals. Oh man, I don't know why you want to start off with this stuff already. Nothing wrong with eating meat. There's nothing wrong with raping children. I mean, that's the same thing. There's nothing wrong with it. That's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with what they did on Epstein Island. Nothing wrong with it. Buying and selling children is perfectly acceptable. Others only have value that if we can extract that value. Others only have value if we can extract that value through pleasure or profit. Pleasure or profit. That's the only way to do it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Your vegan activist idiots called me. What do you expect? What do you expect? What do you expect? Assuming someone's MAGA is insane. Assuming someone's MAGA is insane? I don't think so. The world's coming down to two sides in the whole world, not just MAGA. I mean, they'll call it different things, different places. It's coming down to National Socialists, to Democratic Socialists again. That's where we are. We're right back where we started. Always the age-old tension of humanity between those who think that they inherit all the wealth and power in the world and those who think that everything belongs to all of us because we're all in this together. That's the tension of the world. It's been like this for, well, maybe forever. I don't know. For as long as recorded history's been going on. And, we might not call them MAGA, but we'll call them something. We'll call them different things in different places. You know how it goes. You know how it is. Anyway, my name is Skyjack Morgan, independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. Looks like we got lots of people with lots of ants in their pants. Maybe we'll get some callers today. You never know. It's getting exciting. I'm about to move. I'm packing every day. So, I mean, I'm stressing out. I'm a stress bucket, man. I'm just packing every day, trying to make sure I get everything that I need to take. I got people coming in to auction off the other stuff. I got movers coming. I'm got 2 escrows I'm managing. It's difficult, man. I'm pretty stressed out about it. I don't know. Have you ever sold a house before? You ever bought a house before? Me neither. It's my first time doing it. I've done other real estate transactions, but nothing like this. Nothing even close to it. So very exciting stuff, going through dead mom stuff and everything. It's exciting. Anyway, the news waits for no man. And Luna's in the news. I was really excited about it. She's so exciting. She's turning on Trump. MAGA's eating itself. It's turning in on itself. MAGA is eating itself to the point where they're going to eat Mike Pence. No, not Mike Pence, Mike Johnson. Any Mike, really. They're really into eating mics. I don't know why. Dropping mics, blowing mics. Remember Donald Trump did the blowing mic? They just hate mics, maybe. Maybe that's what MAGA is all about. Mike against gullible assholes. I don't know, something.
Being told that they have no intentions of doing anything with the SAVE Act, that they're hoping that it'll just go away and that people will stop calling them.
Mike Johnson's biggest problem this week may not be Democrats. It may be his own Republicans. The House is back in Washington, and conservative hardliners are threatening to shut down floor action again. The fight is over the SAVE Act. That's a GOP election bill requiring proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote in federal elections.
Register to vote in federal elections. I like her voice. That's really great. The SAVE Act, man, seems really popular. People want to have more identification in America. I don't know how we got to this point where everyone's wanting more and more identification. I feel like that's anathema to the American experience. The show me your papers country. Where are your papers? You just crossed the street and we want to see your papers. Are you allowed to do this? Have you been given permission to cross to this side of the street, Mr. Jones? Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones. I see that, yeah, people playing, I mean, everyone playing victim. I mean, that's the thing. People always playing victim. I mean, Jenna, that's always the thing. They always play the victim no matter what. People who are harmed, people who harm others play victims. That's just how it goes. Perhaps Mike Johnson, will see him play victim here soon. He'll be, I didn't know what I was getting into when I decided to join this MAGA party. I thought that it was all going to be peaches and cream.
The House has already passed it, but it's stuck in the Senate. Republicans do not have the 60 votes needed to break a filibuster. Now, Florida Congress.
The filibuster's going down. Skyjacker Johnny Palmadessa is having problems finding anyone MAGA that's willing to defend their voting. They won't defend it. They won't defend it. They can't defend it. They know they can't defend it. That doesn't mean they're going to stop supporting their Christ figure. They're not going to stop supporting their guru. You can't find someone to try to find someone to defend it. They know they can't. They know there's no policy they can defend. They know that there's no promise that he's kept. They know that we're at war with Iran for no reason. It's always it. Fascist movements always end up turning inwards and infighting. Yeah, but we're in the early stages. They're going to start killing each other for purity reasons. They'll start axing each other. That's why you see MTG and all these others. They're starting to fade away. And so only the core group will be the ones in charge. I think that's what will happen next. The authoritarians, yeah, it's not just fascist either. I mean, all the authoritarians, they do this. They start having purity tests, and then they start killing off the ones that aren't faithful to the one and true king. Maggots will guarantee will guaranteed deny their involvement. Of course they will. Yeah, we didn't know. I didn't know this was going to be so bad. Just like, have you ever seen Justice at Nuremberg, where Spencer Tracy asks the servants in the house, and he's like, "This house used to be from this famous Nazi. You guys didn't know what was going on. You were in the house. You were serving these people. What do you mean you didn't know?" "Well, they built the Autobahn. We thought it was good. We didn't know. We had no idea." And Spencer Tracy's like, okay, you didn't know. Where'd all the Jews go? We just didn't know what happened. I mean, this house used to belong to somebody, and it was a Jewish family, and then it belonged to the general, and you served the general, but you didn't know what happened? Is what you're telling? We didn't know. We had no idea what was going on.
Congresswoman Annalena Paulina Luna is pushing to attach the SAVE Act to must-pass bills.
Put on must-pass bills. That sounds great. Why am I moving? Mostly because everything's just everything's more expensive. I have no reason really to be here. I love it here, but it's not really this neighborhood. I didn't choose this neighborhood. My mom died. I inherited a house. I ended up here. I've been paying for this house. It's a very expensive house. I'm the only one who lives here. There's no reason for me to keep paying. I don't have enough money to keep paying if I'm just going to be the only one living here. So where can I go? And I'm going to go to Albuquerque. I thought about moving back to Europe, but I've lived all over the world, and I've never lived in the middle of the country. And Albuquerque is pretty close to the middle. And I like it out there. I like it out there, the desert, where the air is rarefied. Get out of the low zone, get into the ozone, they say. Go to Albuquerque, 5,000 feet in the air. I like that high altitude, clean air up there, man. It's good for the lungs, good for the hair. My hair feels so good out there. Having dry weather, every day is a good hair day. I wanted to live in a walkable community and be able to walk to the grocery store, the comic book store, and the all in one trip. I just want to be able to walk to the comic book store, the grocery store, the cafe, the bar, meet people, hang out. I remember when I lived in Oakland and Berkeley. I lived on the border of Oakland and Berkeley, and it was like that, and I miss it. I've lived in a few places like that, and now that I could choose, that's just what I want to do. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry for my loss. Yeah. It sucks. And I'm going through it all over again, because now that I'm moving, I get to go through all of my mom's old things, deciding what to throw away and what to keep, and that is messing me up.
That includes the defense policy bill. Speaker Johnson says he already tried to link the SAVE Act to that defense bill, and he says Luna's objections are not accurate. But Luna says nothing has changed. In fact, she told a media outlet it's time to, quote, smoke out some of the rats in the Senate. And she's warning the blockade could continue. It's not an empty threat. Back in June, 13 Republican rebels.
When they start calling their own party rats, that's where you got to know. They're doing it. There you go. You saw it. They're all going to do it. That's how they always go. Mm-hmm.
Force House leaders to scrap votes and send lawmakers home early. The standoff has already had other consequences. President Trump refused to sign a bipartisan housing bill in protest, and it became law this weekend without his signature. Johnson has very little room to maneuver. Republicans only hold a small House majority. That means he can lose just 3 GOP votes before he needs help from Democrats. And the SAVE Act is not the only problem. Another group of hardliners is angry that leadership.
Oh, Jerry Garcia, you still don't get it. You dumb piece of garbage. Republicans and Democrats are the same ging darn thing, ding dang do. They're the same thing, Dumbo. Same thing, Dumbo. The unitard party. Well, you voted for Democrats at some point in your life, I'm sure. Yeah, they're so different. You know who voted for Democrats their whole lives? Donald Trump. Donald Trump voted for Democrats his whole life. His whole life. He voted for Democrats. Huh. Strange.
Do not hold a promise vote on a border security bill. That bill would limit asylum and parole. The House Rules Committee is set to meet Monday. It'll take up spending bills.
The rats. Look out for those rats.
Bills and a measure on daylight savings time. But right now, the defense bill is not scheduled for a vote. So Johnson returns to Washington with a familiar challenge. Keep the House moving and keep his own members from grinding it to a halt.
He loves grinding, though. I mean, she said grinding. When I heard Mike Johnson's going to keep his members grinding, I know he wants to grind his member on something. He loves grinding, that guy. Loves it. Hey, I don't know if you've heard, but the SAVE Act is bullshit, and it's not going to pass the Senate, but Donald Trump keeps trying. Is it going to pass by November? What do you think? Do you think it'll pass by November? They keep trying. Let me make that a poll. Do you think the SAVE Act Do you think the SAVE Act will pass by November? because that's the thing. It's just got to pass before. Oh, I'm the caps. Ignore the caps. I accidentally hit the caps lock.
Let's just start at the very beginning.
Don't mean to shout. Look, this is Jillian Michaels. She was famous for yelling at fat people. Now she's famous for yelling about, I don't know, Israel. She's really into Israel.
How did you even get into this? You're an investigative journalist. What made you decide to start investigating Wikipedia?
It was really kind of a coincidence. I was working with someone, a really great researcher, a machine learning researcher named David Rosato, who did this very kind of simple, the results were simple. It was a study about Wikipedia bias. And the results showed that there's a clear bias.
Trump has never said something dirty, never said something dirty. He's always said,
oh, is that Paranoid Android? Do you have the Paranoid Android as your PFP? That's rad. That's one of my favorite books. Don't panic. You see this? Says don't panic right here. It says don't panic on my shirt, on my my lapel pin.
Towards the left. So if you take like American politicians, Supreme Court justices, even journalists that are mentioned on Wikipedia, they tend to be associated with more favorable language on the platform. And on the right, you've got the opposite effect. They tend to be, people on the right tend to be associated with negative terms and negative sentiment on Wikipedia. And I was like, okay, we all kind of know that. You kind of like have a gut sense that that's the case, but why? That's what I wanted.
Maybe it's because you consider the right negative when you say Nazi. Maybe that's why, because the right wing is called Nazis, National Socialists, and you're like, oh, that's negative. What should we call them? The reasonable right. That's what we should call them. The reasonable racists. That's what we should call them. Reasonable racists. They're not Nazis. They're rational racists.
Understand, how did it get to that point? How does it work? And what does it mean for the bigger information ecosystem?
Okay, let's start first with some
the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act is the one saying that they want to have voter ID, a special ID, so that if you're a woman has changed her name because she got married and the name doesn't match the name on her birth certificate, she's not going to be able to vote unless she gets another form of ID. That's the vibe with the SAVE Act. There's a lot going on with the SAVE Act, but the SAVE Act is supposed to be voter ID, basically. I mean, they want everyone to get an extra ID. Everyone's got to go out and spend money and get an extra ID. Find your old birth certificate. Who's got a birth certificate? You guys got your birth certificates for handy? Because you're gonna need them, man. You're gonna get all your paperwork. You better get all your paperwork in order, boy. You better get all that shit in order, because we're gonna need it all.
Wo sind Ihre Papiere? Sie müssen Ihre Papiere in Ordnung haben. Show me your papers.
Examples of what you're talking about. And again, I could show mine, but that's just so nominal. I mean, we're talking about Trump, Elon Musk, Iran, Israel. I mean, this is literally impacting the way.
Really? I'm talking too fast? I'm sorry.
I talk like Donald Trump. He's very slow talking, very slow. Arnold Palmer, he's got a beautiful schlong and he's so great. So I love women, but you gotta admit, his schlong was all man. It was all man, the biggest schlong I ever saw. Oh my God.
The globe thinks about things. Wikipedia is not just available in America. So can you give the audience some glaring examples of what you're talking about that they might be able to identify and recognize immediately?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. It's the entire platform in a way. And just to your last point that you kind of touched on, it is the globe. It's the entire information ecosystem. It's what feeds Google results. And most important of all,
it's funny. I think women shouldn't be changing their last names. Maybe women shouldn't be changing their last name. We should get rid of that idea. Get rid of that idea. I've changed on that. I used to think, man, if I'm going to get married to a woman, I want her to have my last name. You know what I'm saying? I don't want this kid that I'm raising. I don't want this little baby, little bambino. This little bambino, I don't want him being raised with some bastard name. You know what I mean? I want him to have my own name. I was a bit more conservative when I was a kid. I thought that, old-fashioned, I should say. And I don't think so anymore. I don't think that women should be taken. Obviously, they shouldn't, because the government just wants to fuck them over for changing their name. I will never change my last name. Won't disenfranchise Mel. Will never change my last name. They won't disenfranchise me if I can help it. I like it. No, I like it. It sounded more like a great rant. I loved it too. I love it. I love it.
It's what feeds AI disproportionately, more so than.
I'm never going to do it. You're never going to change my last name, you sons of bitches, you government goons. I'm never going to let it happen. I won't let it happen. I won't do it.
Any other single knowledge platform. The AIs that we are relying on today get their training from the training data from Wikipedia, and they get their reference data. When you ask a question, oftentimes it will pull the data straight from Wikipedia. So on Trump, for example, I did some reporting about how a small cluster of editors on the platform worked to cast Trump as an authoritarian, which is a very extreme claim to make about an American president, even one you may really, really dislike. To call him an authoritarian in an encyclopedia, we're not expressing an opinion on X or on Instagram. These editors relied on Marxist sourcing, far left, hard left.
Marxist sourcing. What is a Marxist source? I don't know what Marxist sourcing means. Is that a sourcing from a Marxist? Who's a Marxist that I can source? It's a Marxist sourcing. I'm struggling to understand what that means. I love in Wikipedia, they're depending on Marxist sourcing. Yes, calling Donald Trump an authoritarian means that there's a Marxist in our midst. They are anti-women. Your wife didn't take your last name. My wife took my last name, my ex-wife, and then she became my ex-wife, and then she had to go to the Social Security office and change it again. It was a pain in her ass. I was happy. I was like, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe it's so petty. It's like, well, if I make her change her name, she'll think twice before leaving me because it'll take extra long to change it back. My mom changed her name for my dad, and then when they got divorced, she did not change it back to her original name. So I don't know. I guess we're going to have to stop asking people what their mother's maiden names are when we ask them to, I don't know, do their bank info. They always ask, what is your mother's maiden name? It used to anyway. Platinum replacement is a guy that claims he menstruates through his asshole. Really? That's incredible. That's incredible. How do you menstruate through your asshole? Like what lining is it? Your colon lining? I guess like if you eat a lot of meat and then you like that necrotic flesh kind of sits in the sacculars of your colon, maybe like you need to get a colonic, and that's kind of like a menstruation. I don't know. If she wanted to take your last name, she would have. Why would she want to? I don't know why women. I guess if you got a cooler last name, I guess women, they could change their name. They could be like, hey, like, I don't know. My ex-wife, her name was Mary, what was her stupid last name? Harris. And my last name's Morgan. So she thought it was cool. Mary Morgan sounds cooler than Mary Harris. So I think she only did it because it sounded cool. I think she was only with me because it sounded cool. I think the only reason she married me was because it was cool. I was cooler than her family was or something. I don't know.
Sources that were working with former Obama officials in NGOs. They launder it through Wikipedia. So you, as the user of the site, don't really know where the information is coming from.
They're laundering it.
You just get this blank statement. And then you go over to like the supreme leader of Iran at the time, at least, or Xi Jinping, whatever they call him, the paramount leader, the leader of China, and you don't see the term authoritarian. They call Trump an authoritarian, but not an actual authoritarian. So this is just one example. In the Iranian stuff, we have systematic infiltration by Iran.
They're both authoritarian?
Iranian media, state media, IRGC. These guys are terror supporters, the biggest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. Wikipedia relies on their data, on their information.
So you're saying that the Wikipedia is meaner to Donald Trump than it is Iran? That's because Wikipedia is mostly written in America by Americans. That's all that is. Like, for some reason in Wikipedia, they're meaner to Donald Trump than they are to Iran. Could it be because Americans are writing it? Well, yeah.
To prove facts about what you as a consumer in the United States are learning about the world. We see the same thing with China. We see the same thing even with Al-Qaeda media being cited as sources on Wikipedia. It goes on and on and on. The more you dig, the more you find.
This used to be like kind of a...
Is prenups not okay? If I ever get married, I'm fucking 100% going to prenup. I'll tell you what, I signed a prenup when I got married because her family had more money. And they didn't want me like going after the money. And I was like, whatever, I don't care. I don't want your fucking money. And so I don't want your blood money because they were cattle farmers, And I signed it. What do I care? I don't care. Prenup. What do I care? I didn't care even a little bit. And in the end, I still didn't care. Oh, I could have had a years-long court case where I try to take money that was unjustly begotten. Nah. I don't want to go after anybody's money. I didn't give a shit. I just wanted out. I wanted out. So I don't know. I don't get this whole thing about why is a prenup a bad thing? It was great for me, even though I from outside, you might look at it and it was like, oh, it wasn't good for me that I signed a prenup because I didn't get any money. But at the other hand, I was so happy there was a prenup because it was clean. It was still hard, still rough. One of the hardest things I went through in my life with my divorce. But at the end, It was like, these things are separate. The only thing we needed to divide was the business. They still fucked me over. I didn't care. I signed whatever they put in front of me. Sign it. Boom. I sign it. I sign it. Boom. I sign it. Get me out. Get me out. Let me go. Please let me go. Just leave me alone. Please let me go. Please let me go. Jesus says, hey, hey, fascists who thinks it's okay to kill people for thinking differently, and y'all call us extremists. No, I just think it's okay to punch Nazis. I don't think that's the same thing. It's how dare you want to harm people that want to harm you? How dare you want to stop racism? You must be a fascist wanting to stop racism.
Joke. Oh, your Wikipedia page a decade ago. And then I'll say this. I started to notice it taking a very bizarre turn when it came to my reputation. And my business partner and I would struggle to try to clean up the page, and we would find it impossible.
Oh, I bet it was hard for Jillian Michaels to clean up the page. She made a career out of being a major bitch to everybody, like really meanie, just a meanie. She was just a meanie. Even people who loved her was like, this mean bitch is getting me in shape. I remember there was a lady I knew. She was a fat person. She was just a heavyweight, like, chef person. She wasn't, I don't mean that as a bad person. She's a big person. She's a big lady. And she was doing her workouts with Jillian Michaels, I think on the Wii Fit or something. And she was doing the Jillian Michaels, and Jillian Michaels was like yelling at her. She's like, this bitch is getting me in shape. This bitch is getting me in shape. Look. And she would work out with Jillian Michaels. This bitch. People who love Jillian Michaels called her a bitch. She was a lovable bitch. And now she's a Zionist, like she's really into Israel, like really, really into Israel. So, I mean, yeah, you could get why she'd have a bad Wikipedia page. Are you a Democrat or the opposite? I'm slow. Let me see. Oh, I love the PFP. Nice work on the Aston. What's that guy? Astley. I'm an anarchist. I think Democrats and Republicans, we're all political orphans here. I think Democrats and Republicans are the same part of a unitard party, and I'm not into it, man. I'm nothing ever changes if we don't actually make the change. When they put a gun to our head and they say, are you Republican or Democrat? It's like saying, would you like to drink piss or eat shit? I reject the entire system. I disagree with it. Thank you, though. I appreciate you asking. I am not a Democrat. I am not the opposite of a Democrat. If you think the opposite is a Republican, I am neither Republican nor Democrat. They hate me and I hate them.
Possible, and it had been like completely commandeered. But the part where this is relevant, and not just my personal sour grapes about this, is at the time I was working with the Clinton Foundation, and literally working directly with the Clintons in the Clinton Global Initiative, with their Health Matters program, and their people were like, oh yeah, no problem, we can lock the page.
Oh my God. The president of the United States.
And they locked my page for a long time, by the way, so that nobody could mess with it. And I never thought anything of it until now. So let's then table that.
Well, hold on. They lock lots of pages. William Shakespeare's page is locked, Jillian Michaels. Don't think it's too fucking. They can lock lots of pages if you could say that it's a controversial figure. The problem with it is things like you have, if Shakespeare page is open to every Tom, Dick, and Harry on Wikipedia, it's a problem because people be like, Shakespeare didn't exist. You know, same thing with Adolf Hitler. His page is locked on Wikipedia because they don't want a bunch of dumb shits getting in there being like, he was a nice guy. Nick Fuentes said he was awesome and cool. Like, they don't want that shit. So they lock that stuff on Wikipedia. Same thing with Jillian Michaels. I'm guessing Jillian Michaels' page was getting pretty nasty. Obviously.
And go back to the beginning. How did this start? Was this intended to be a propaganda machine utilized by bad actors? How does this happen? How did we get here?
Great question. And we're definitely going to have to come back to the Clinton piece because it's really, really significant. But to answer the question of how we got here and where it came from, Wikipedia started in the early 2000s. It was 2001. And the idea was kind of to put an encyclopedia on the internet, which was a very novel idea at the time. They did that initially by trying to do it in a very traditional manner. They had editors and a review process, and they found out it was extremely slow and extremely expensive to do it that way. And then I believe it was Larry Sanger had the idea, was a co-founder of Wikipedia, had the idea of using this concept of a wiki, which was a website that anybody could edit, and marrying it with the concept of an encyclopedia so that anybody could edit the encyclopedia. And it took off. It was lightning in a bottle. And because of this incredible growth rate that they saw early days and that sustained itself for quite a long time, it really became this.
What the hell is wrong with Jillian Michaels' face? Why is she like... Yeah, Wikipedia. Did you guys not know about this? That Wikipedia is user generated. It's one of the only great things that the internet has actually generated on its own. Like, one of the only things that's happened out of the unused human capital, of the unused intellectual capital of humanity, is Wikipedia. I mean, it's not perfect, but I mean, it's pretty awesome, right? You can look up lots of shit. It's fairly reliable. It's more reliable than all the other encyclopedias that came before. So that's pretty cool. And it can be corrected. It's pretty rad. I mean, Wikipedia, for all of its faults, pretty great. Pretty great.
Amazing media story. Like for the media, it was novelty, it was internet. Back in the day, today the media kind of has like this kind of animus against tech, like kind of an anti-tech attitude that pivoted after the first Trump election. But before,
it's anti-surveillance, you fucks. I'm not anti-technology, I'm anti-surveillance. I'm anti you pushing so much technology down our throats so quickly that we don't know which way is up. And before we know it, we've got computers in our brains reading our thoughts. You know, it's so bad. It's not that people are against tech. We're against cameras recording us every fucking where we go. There's not that we're against tech. We're against your sticky little government fingers inserting into each of our orifices, playing us like puppets. I'm not against tech. I'm against the government using tech and deploying it so quickly and with such aggression that people are dying, and you're poisoning our rivers and streams. You're putting so much noise and air pollution into these towns through these stupid surveillance centers. It's disgusting. Who's against tech? Ted Kaczynski? No one's against tech. We're against techno bros. We're against the Nazis. We're against these fascist oligarchs like fucking Elon Musk and Bees Nuts and Zucker Tits. We're sick of those guys. Oh, people are against tech. That means you're against Wikipedia? Nah. Sorry, pal.
then it was the media was largely pro-tech, and anything that was seen as a tech innovation was really celebrated, and they hyped it up, and they made it out to be this like great solution to the age-old question of how do we know what we know.
I can't stop looking at her face. What is she doing with her face? This is not the face of a person that, whatever.
And it seemed like we had a solution. If you crowdsource the knowledge and you get a bunch of different perspectives, you can actually flatten out the bias and the noise and elevate the signal. So like on paper, it's a pretty good idea. And sort of it worked. I mean, already early days, you had problems. There was a famous case with a journalist named John Siegenthaler, who was a very senior journalist in the American press, and someone just decided to
hold it. Dead man lives. Flox says it. Biden though. Oh, so it's Biden's fault that the government keeps doing this stuff. Biden was the first one who decided to put flock cameras. Man, this is every step is the same thing. This is why you gotta stop having presidents, man. You gotta stop having presidents. They're the worst. We don't need presidents. Every time they get in office, they claw more power for the executive branch. Doesn't matter who it is. Starts back. You can go back as far as, most people who are watching, they probably maybe remember Carter. So since Carter, it's only gotten worse. Okay. It's gotten worse with each president. People are like, oh, well, I like Bill Clinton. Clinton was a bad fucking idea. George W. Bush, bad fucking idea. Barack Obama, bad idea. Donald Trump, bad idea. Biden, bad idea. Donald Trump again, even a worse idea. It just gets worse. In fact, even Donald Trump has gotten worse. It just gets worse. Just getting worse.
To take to his Wikipedia page in the early 2000s and lie and say he was involved in the assassination of Bobby and John F. Kennedy. And he happened to actually be a close friend of Bobby Kennedy. So this was a slander that hurt him personally. And he was one of the first to really raise the red flag to say something is wrong with this because he couldn't get the page changed. He was as important and distinguished and influential figure in American society as you could possibly.
Anybody can change any page unless it's locked. And then you have to appeal to the consortium at Wikipedia. That's how it works. That's the whole thing works. It's a democratic process. It's something that it kind of sucks sometimes because sometimes you see things on Wikipedia, you're like, what the hell? And if you don't know how to change it yourself, which you should, it's not that hard to change Wiki. You can learn how to do it in about 3 minutes. You can edit Wikipedia. If you think something's wrong, edit it.
And he had no
put your sources up.
No recourse, and that's what really outraged him. So over the years, the story built and built and built, and we had this really great myth about Wikipedia. Somewhere
Obama gets a hero's welcome everywhere he goes, and Trump gets booed, and MAGA thinks the world loves him. Well, to be fair, Barack Obama isn't president anymore. And all of his really horrible shit that he did do, he ameliorated by having these feel-good programs like DACA. They're dreamers.
Yes, I'm deporting people and putting them in concentration camps and doing all of the horrible things that you're afraid of. And yes, I'm carrying out extrajudicial murders of foreigners and also citizens. Yes, of course I'm using drones to murder people without trials. Yes. But have you heard about DACA? And by the way, gays can get married now, huh? You got to do some of that feel good shit. Donald Trump's got no feel good vibes, man. Donald Trump's got zero feel good vibes. Barack Obama, lots of feel good vibes. He does the really bad shit every other president does, but he was a smart politician. He's like, yeah, if I'm going to put children in cages, I better build the Autobahn. Oh, that was a different guy. If I'm going to put children in cages, I better let gays get married. Huh? If I'm gonna deport the largest mass deportation in the history of America, if I'm gonna do that, I better let the people who came when they were 3 years old, I better give them a little amnesty. Not real amnesty, of course, just a commutation. We're gonna let them stay if they keep their noses clean. We're gonna let them stay in a questionable status if we put them all on a list. Lists. We're going to put all the foreigners on a list? Yeah. Totally normal. That's what they always do. Funny. You got to have that. Wikipedia is inherent by it for Wikipedians and therefore really doesn't represent the cross-section of intellectual ideas. It does not, but Wikipedians generally cite sources. So that's the best you're going to get on the internet, homie.
Along the lines, 2015, 2016, we started to understand that the internet is not just fun and games anymore, and knowledge platforms like Wikipedia were susceptible to all kinds of manipulation.
It's not just fun and games.
To hijacking, to ideological manipulation, to state-backed or state-linked operations. And this only increased as Wikipedia positioned itself as what it described as part of global knowledge infrastructure. Wait,
so is that worse or better than the Encyclopedia Britannica? Because I want to say, when I was growing up, we had encyclopedias in my house. Remember the old volume? Did anyone else have the old volumes? My parents didn't have a lot of money, but you could do this thing where you could buy one at a time at the supermarket. Did you guys do that? You go to like Kroger's or Ralph's or whatever it was back then, and then you can just go. I think it was called Hughes. Now it's called Ralph's, but it's Kroger. It's always been Kroger. And you could buy a volume of the encyclopedia every time you go to the supermarket, so you can amass your collection slowly. I just saw some old childhood pictures of me with the Wikipedia, with the encyclopedias behind me, and I liked them. I thought they were so cool. You look, I'm looking for Marxism. Oh, go under M. Okay, Marxism. Let me read about Marxism. Okay, there we go. Was it better or worse? Every time they go through it, they say it's fewer inaccuracies on Wikipedia than there are in all traditional encyclopedias. So call it what you will. There's always a bias in everything you read. Welcome to the world of reading. Welcome to the world of reading, everybody. Don't believe everything you read. Fucking morons.
Good morning, Chairman Grassley, Ranking Member Durbin, and members of this committee.
Chairman
I'm here
Grassley's on
as
the
a public
phone.
servant, a former Justice
Chairman Grassley's on the phone. He's 107.
Department employee and a concerned American who cares deeply about the future of our country.
Let's do it.
I had great hope that Todd Blanche would be an effective leader and a responsible steward of the Department of Justice.
What the fuck were you thinking? With that coat, you look like Miss Piggy. That's a horrible color on you. No, I mean, Todd Blanche. What were you thinking about Todd Blanche? Why were you thinking Todd Blanche was gonna? You think Donald Trump's sex crimes attorney was gonna do great? Okay, we need another poll. We need another poll. Hold on, let's end this poll. Come on. We need another poll. Stay tuned. We're gonna do a poll. Hold on, we're doing another poll. Come on, you stupid I want to call everything Wikipedia now. Stupid YouTube. Okay, so did you think Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's sex crime attorney, was going to be a steward of justice?
But he quickly proved me wrong. 2 days after Mr. Blanche was confirmed as Deputy Attorney General, he fired me from my position as the department's career pardon attorney. I declined to rubber stamp a political favor for a friend of the president, and it cost me my job. Mr. Blanche's office had asked me to recommend restoring the gun ownership rights of a convicted domestic abuser. I raised concerns about public safety, but Mr. Blanche's staff pressured me to go along anyway. I did not. Domestic violence is the leading type of homicide among women. When a domestic abuser is armed, his victim is 5 times more likely to be killed. But because this particular domestic abuser had a personal relationship with the president, Mr. Blanche's staff asked me to set aside my concerns. When I wouldn't, Mr. Blanche fired me within hours. He then took extraordinary measures to silence me. He sent U.S. Marshals to my home in an effort to prevent me from speaking with members of Congress. I was shocked to hear Mr. Blanche's testimony about this yesterday. What he said about my firing is provably false. His claim that it had nothing to do with the concerns I raised is contradicted by documents and evidence. His claim that he tried to call me before sending marshals to my home is flat out false. His claim that it is normal for DOJ to use armed law enforcement officers to deliver mail to the homes of its former employees is preposterous.
Okay, so she's just saying that Todd Blanche is a goddamn liar. Don't believe a word he's fucking
The
saying.
casual lie while sitting in this chair testifying to this committee are emblematic of a much larger problem. Courts across the country have said they can no longer trust the Justice Department to uphold the law and tell the truth. There are over 700 documented instances of DOJ violating judicial orders. There are nearly 100 cases in which judges appointed by both parties have found that DOJ presented false or misleading information in court. Earlier this week, a federal judge found that Mr. Blanche personally misled this Congress about the department's settlement agreement with President Trump.
Let's make him Attorney General.
To the American public, it looks like Mr. Blanche is running DOJ as Donald Trump's personal law firm. He is using law enforcement powers to pursue petty grudges harbored by the president. These pointless vendettas are wasting our scarce resources and destroying DOJ's credibility. Mr. Blanche has repeatedly placed President Trump's interests ahead of the interests of the country. The collusive settlement agreement is a perfect example.
Don't you know essential oils are going to save us all? Not the Democrats. It's going to be the essential oils. That lady's onto something. Your college professor grandma doesn't accept Wikipedia as a source for her students. I mean, like when I was in college, they didn't accept Wikipedia either because it's like Wikipedia is not a source, right? Wikipedia is a thing that cites sources, but you could go to Wikipedia and click on the source and use that as a source without issue. Like it's not hard. Just don't use Wikipedia as your source. It's like saying like some guy told me. Well, what did that guy read? Oh, look, it's right here. Click. That's what that guy read. This is where it came from. You could cite that source. I don't know. Wikipedia is a great place to start, man. If you want to know something quick and it's not something controversial, then you could find out very quickly on Wikipedia or Google now. I mean, it's stuff that's not complicated. Like what's the population of Zaire? Like Wikipedia is great for that. If you want to know, I don't know, the political ramifications of the civil war in the Sudan and who's to blame, Wikipedia is probably not the best place to go because you'll just get confused. It's just too much going on there. Like you want to talk about the Congo or something, like it's not going to be easy. They'll tell you what's going on, but it's like it's not going to paint the whole picture. It's not going to show you like American involvement and British involvement and German involvement and Belgium involvement. They won't tell you all those things because, well, it can't really. It's a fucking Wikipedia.
It protects the entire Trump family.
Like it's an encyclopedia. What didn't tell you everything either. Like the old school encyclopedias, those books, you would look up like the history of Russia. You think the history of Russia is going to be in one volume, one section of one volume, letter R of your encyclopedia? No, they're going to give you the broad brushes of the history of Russia. If you look up Russia in the encyclopedia, it's not going to tell you everything you need to know. If you want to do a school report in the 5th grade on the history of Russia, it's a great place to go.
And all of their businesses from any investigation or audit forever. It gives away nearly $2 billion of our money for no reason at all. It is a windfall for the president and his allies.
Lenin stated this. Lenin didn't state this. This is, well, Lenin was a Marxist, but he became a Leninist because he didn't think that it was okay to not have parliamentary ramblings and dealings with the others. But whatever. I mean, Leninism, cool. Lenin stated that socialism is a transitional period to full communism. Well, communism is an idea, right? Stateless, classless, hierarchy-less society. But you can't get there without socialism. So it's kind of like socialism would be a transitional. If you take socialism, which is just prioritizing the public need over private profit, you will get to communism eventually. That's just logical conclusion. But socialists think that you can use the existing power structures to change it from within. Communists, not really, not so much.
The expense of the American people. A court found that signing this agreement was a betrayal of Mr. Blanche's duty.
Like all communists are socialists, but not all socialists are communists. You understand that? Like it's kind of like all cognacs are brandies, but not all brandies are cognacs. All bourbons are whiskeys, but not all whiskeys are bourbons. You get me? You feel me? You understand? All champagnes are wine, but not all wine is champagne. Same thing with communism and socialism. Socialists believe that they can, like democratic socialists think that they can somehow use the master's tools to tear down the master's house. Generally, communists don't believe that idea. Like active communists don't believe that.
To zealously represent the interests of the United States. That is the most basic obligation of the Attorney General. Mr. Blanche said yesterday that the settlement fund is dead. It is not. That is
Listen, baby doll, we ain't arguing. I'm just fucking spitballing. Here's a live show, baby doll. I'm reacting to what I see. Don't take anything too serious. Don't take anything so personal, homie. Goddamn. Chill, little homie. Chill, little homie. We're just reacting to shit on the internet, man. This is an internet show. This is the #1 news reaction show on YouTube. My name is Skyjack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate, and coffee addict. Thank you all for joining us. The #1 news reaction show on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. If you'd like, you could put a Cash App or Venmo, Skyjack Morgan. I really appreciate it. Or you could do a super chat like this gent did. Are you a Democrat or the opposite? You're not slow. You're just curious. That's okay. Why so serious? Why so serious?
is Contract Law 101. Mr. Trump or his sons could seek to enforce it at any time. Mr. Blanche gave bizarre excuses for not meeting with Jeffrey Epstein's victims. Yet he spent 2 days personally eliciting testimony from Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's partner in crime. After this imprisoned sex
Do you guys say Ghislaine or you say Ghislaine or you say Ghislaine? I like Ghislaine.
trafficker made
We always called her G-Max when I was hanging out with them. When they were calling me Bubba, they'll call me we called her G-Max.
statements claiming to exonerate the president, she was moved to a minimum security camp. That is a grievous breach of DOJ policy. It is an abuse of Mr. Blanche's office. It is a terrible betrayal of Epstein and Maxwell's victims. Mr. Blanche's callous approach to the Epstein case matches his cavalier attitude toward rearming domestic abusers. At the end of the day, the priority of this DOJ is protecting powerful men, even when it comes at the expense of vulnerable women. What Mr. Blanche is doing.
Poor Trotsky. Trotsky thought he could write himself out. He could write himself out of this. Talking shit on Stalin, man. You don't live long talking shit on old Stalin.
Is dangerous. Earlier this week, 2 Supreme Court justices sat here and testified about the terrifying threats that judges are facing in this country. Meanwhile, Mr. Blanche is fueling those threats by attacking judges who rule against the administration and declaring a war against the courts. These are not partisan concerns. Americans across the political spectrum rely on DOJ to keep us safe and free. Mr. Blanche has shown that he is willing to put all of that at risk to serve a political agenda. I beg the members of this committee to think about what this is costing our country. Please do not degrade our justice system further by promoting Mr. Blanche.
Wow, that's a pretty powerful. I think that's pretty powerful. She was working under Mr. Blanche. She was there. She was there on the front lines watching the world crumble. I think she's great. Way to go, Miss Elizabeth Oyer. What I don't know your name is Miss. I don't know your name. Trump interests ahead of our country. She was the DOJ pardon attorney, Miss Elizabeth Oyer. For some reason, I just hate that color so much. I think no one should ever wear that color except for Miss Piggy. To me, it's just that's the color of Miss Piggy. Do not wear the color of Miss Piggy unless you like Miss Piggy and you think Miss Piggy. Wear pink, whatever this salmon color is. This pig color. This is not pink. This is like pigskin. They shouldn't. That no one should. You shouldn't be allowed to call this color pink. This is just pigskin. You like the color. Would you wear this color? Liz Oyer. Yeah. Liz Oyer. Child molesters get what they deserve as in a real prison. That's true. They do. They get what they deserve. Like incarceration, you mean, right? Like just going to jail. Skin colored clothes are weird. Like Kim Kardashian, all her clothes are skin colored. What's going on with that? Yeah. That color would look really nice on dark skin. Oh, you think? Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just white girls can't wear it. I don't know about that. Anyway, this isn't the fashion show. I'm just saying that color kind of triggers me because it reminds me of Miss Piggy. And my ex-wife used to wear jackets like that. This is the ex-wife hating episode of this Morning Sky show.
All right, I want to start this hour by telling you about an important position at
Lay it
the
on
United
me.
Nations. It has a very fancy sounding title.
Lay it
but
on
has
me.
For a good reason. The Special Rapporteur on the Independence of Judges and Lawyers. This is a job that monitors judicial independence around the world. The job literally exists to protect everyday people. And that is one of the first things would-be autocrats, they try to do. They try to undermine the independence of the courts. They try to fire the judges who rule against you and replace them with loyalists. For years, the Rapporteur's investigations focused on countries with some of the world's worst records on human rights and the rule of law. Afghanistan, where women have been barred from serving as judges. Belarus, where defense lawyers...
Salmon-colored shorts, man. I don't know. Put some salmon-colored shorts on and a salmon-colored... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think white people should be wearing salmon. I think that's what we've decided, is that white people should not be wearing salmon. Okay, I think we're on the same page.
...have been jailed. Zimbabwe, where independent judges have faced intimidation and threats. But this week, the United States became the subject of one of those investigations. On Thursday, Special Rapporteur Margaret...
Frank Vrooman, thank you. I'm an ex to a lot of people because I have been loved deeply by many. I have been loved deeply by many. I'm lucky that way. I've always had people to love me. It's fantastic. I'm fortunate. I've been fortunate. Women love me, and I love women. I don't know how people are so anti that. I don't know. Why are you anti-love, Frank? Frank, who hurt you, Frank? Who hurt you, Frank, to give you this weird myopic vision of love? This vision of love that's so negative. You think it's pejorative to be an ex? I don't think so at all. It's fantastic. It means that you've been loved. I love being loved. Frank. Oh, Frank. Poor Frank.
Satterthwaite issued a formal communication criticizing the United States over the dismissal of immigration judges. In just a few moments, we will speak with Margaret Satterthwaite, for an exclusive interview on this new damning report. Because regardless of where you fall politically, it is remarkable that the United States is now being scrutinized by the same United Nations office that has long investigated repressive regimes.
So the UN report is showing that the U.S. is now more vulnerable to authoritarianism. What the heck?
Here's what she found.
I wish that someone would just listen to me. I've been saying that for years.
Since January 2025, at least 135 immigration judges have been terminated. Many received an email with no explanation, no allegation at all of misconduct, just a notice informing them that the Attorney General had decided to remove them. Here's the thing. Immigration courts are different from the federal courts most Americans are familiar with. They are not part of the judicial branch. They are administrative courts housed inside the Department of Justice. And that means the same government prosecuting a deportation case also employs the judge that's deciding the case. And that structure has existed for decades. Critics have long argued that it leaves immigration judges vulnerable to political pressure. But for years, immigration judges...
Frank Vrooman. Oh, Frank Vrooman. You're so cute. Well, you know, the Democrats have to go. After all, the Republicans are already gone. The Republicans have left the chat. All we have are the Nazis left. The National Socialists are the only ones left on the right. So the left will have to be Democratic Socialists. We'll see who gets to win this time. Wow, it's been a while. It's better than the World Cup because the World Cup comes around every 4 years. But the ultimate showdown between Democratic Socialists and National Socialists comes only every 100 years. I'm pretty excited to see it. You know, at first I was really afraid. I didn't think it was going to be good, but now I'll be okay. I've got guns and I've got friends. I've got people who love me. So I'll be all right. But many people will not. I'm excited to see who wins this time, though. And I'll be old by the time it's all settled. You know, we'll have to live under an oppressive regime either way for a little while. It's going to get exciting.
Had an important safeguard. They had civil service protections. They generally couldn't be fired without cause, without a reason. Then the Trump administration removed the lone Democratic member of something called the Merit Systems Protection Board, the panel that hears a lot of those federal employment disputes. That board then ruled that immigration judges can be fired at will. So that safeguard is gone. And according to the UN experts, the dismissals were not random. Judges who granted asylum at rates above the national average were disproportionately removed. They got 86th. So were judges with backgrounds representing immigrants.
You guys, you think you're still here, but Republicans have gone the way of the dodo. There's no such thing as a Republican anymore. Like the days of Mitt Romney and John McCain and even Paul Ryan, those days are over. Those days are over, man. Game over, man. Nowadays, all you get is MAGA. If you're not MAGA, then you're out. I mean, look at the Democrats. The first story we showed, the Democrats the MAGA are eating each other alive. They're getting rid of all of the impure MAGers, and they're only keeping the core, the ones that are really only pray to the one true God, Donald Trump. That's how it always goes with them Nazis. And now it's going to look really bad because now the social democrats, they're starting to do their thing just like they did back in the 30s, man. It's all coming back. It's all coming back. Will the social democrats be the first party to be made illegal? Because that's what the Nazis did. The social democrats were the only ones to vote against Hitler becoming a dictator. And then right after he became dictator, he made it illegal to be a social democrat. Don't you think that's what Donald Trump's already talking about? Donald Trump is already talking about making it illegal to be a Democrat. He says that. He's already said he wants to destroy the party. He wants there to be no more Democrats. He wants no more. He wants to make it illegal to be a Democrat. And most MAGAs are totally okay with this idea. Completely fine with it.
Or humanitarian organizations. And so were judges appointed by the previous administration. Entire courts now have actually gone dark, shuttered. The San Francisco Immigration Court was once staffed by 21 judges. It's shut down. Across 9 states, more than a dozen immigration courts have lost over half of their judges. So here's what that means. According to the National Association of Immigration Judges, every single judge who leaves behind an immigration courtroom leaves around 700 pending cases with them. Those cases end up reassigned, and now remaining judges are responsible for something like 10,000 to 12,000 cases. But if you think this affects only judges appointed by Democratic presidents, meet Judge Bray Bergy. She served on the immigration bench in Denver. That's her. She was appointed during President Trump's first term after spending more than a decade working in the immigration system, much of it representing the government. Okay. And then late last year, she granted bond to a Colorado mother and an outspoken Trump critic who has spent 9 months in ICE detention. Judge Bergy ruled that the government had failed to meet its burden to justify their continued detention. You know what happened? An ICE spokesperson publicly labeled the Republican appointee an activist judge.
An activist judge? She was appointed by Donald Trump.
Soon afterward, a federal district court ruled that detained immigrants were entitled to bond hearings. The Justice Department ordered judges to ignore the federal court, but Bergy followed the court ruling. She returned to the bench, she switched on her microphone, and she announced on the record that she would continue holding those hearings. Days later, her detained docket was stripped away and it was reassigned. Other judges reversed her decisions, and then she was disciplined. And this June, while she was touring the East Coast with her 2 kids to celebrate America's 250th birthday, she got the call. She was terminated, effective immediately. She didn't even get a reason. Now consider what is replacing judges like Bergy. The administration launched a recruitment campaign seeking lawyers to become what it called not immigration judges, but deportation judges.
Deportation
Remember
judges?
what's at stake in these courtrooms. Immigration judges.
Who else had a deportation judge? Let's just see really quickly. When Adolf Hitler was starting his mass deportation of the Jews, and he must not have had judicial support right away. Did he have to appoint new judges in order to have deportation judges? Adolf Hitler did not need to appoint new judges for mass deportation because he had already dismantled the independent judiciary by purging non-Nazis. And deportations were ultimately managed by the SS and the police, which bypassed the court system entirely. Oh, so that's what the Gestapo is already doing. They're just, I get it now. So ICE, they're bypassing the court system completely. They don't need to really get just deportation judges. They don't need them at all. Purging the judiciary through the law of restoration and professional civil service passed in 1933, the regime fired all Jewish judges, lawyers, and civil servants and removed lifetime tenure. The courts were quickly staffed with loyalists who applied Nazi ideology to their rulings. There you go. That's it. That's okay. So they did have to have just loyalists. They staffed it with loyalists. That makes sense. Creating the dual state, the regular court system coexisted with the arbitrary power of the SS and the Gestapo. As the regime prepared for mass deportations, they did not use traditional deportation judges. Instead, the SS organized the roundups and evacuations without any recourse to the legal system. Oh, just like what our ICE is doing. They're going in and they're not using the legal system. They're just throwing them in concentration camps. Cool. But in 1942, Hitler completely stripped away what remained of the judicial independence, formally asserting the right to dismiss judges at will if they failed to meet the regime's expectations. That sounds exactly like what MAGA wants to do. That's identical to what MAGA wants to do. Okay, cool. So now we know that he's just following the playbook.
Whether a person will be allowed to remain in the United States or sent back to a country where they may face persecution, imprisonment, or even death. Maybe they haven't even been there before. And this is the part that we should all be paying attention to. The reason this story matters far beyond immigration. Authoritarian governments rarely begin by stripping everybody's rights at once. They start with groups who have the least power and the fewest defenders, and they bet that nobody's going to care or pay attention. And once our society or any society accepts those departures from the rule of law, the tactics then they start to expand. If this playbook works on the immigration courts, nothing says that it's going to stop there. Judge Bergy put it this way. it's not just one court system that is being attacked. I think everyone has an interest in making sure that our systems function correctly. And if the immigration court doesn't, what's the next court not to function correctly? Will it be Social Security courts? Will it be the EEOC?
Maybe it'll be Social Security courts.
People aren't going to be able to get.
Well, they have just like maybe people who are from immigrant parents won't be able to collect their Social Security. That makes sense.
Justice when their due process rights are violated. She is pointing to something much bigger than immigration. Due process is not some hard to understand technicality. It's not some abstract academic thing. It is one of the oldest and most fundamental promises in American law that the government cannot take your liberty, it cannot take your livelihood, it cannot take your life without proving its case before a neutral judge. And that's exactly why the United Nations monitors judicial independence all around the world.
So what's
And
the
that is
deal?
why its findings this week deserve the attention of every American, not just those who care about immigration. The strength of a democracy is not measured by how it treats the wealthy or the well-connected, or certainly by Donald Trump's allies. It is measured by whether the person with the least power can still expect the law to protect them equally.
No.
Joining us now for an MS Now exclusive is Margaret.
I don't think they ever could. I don't think they ever really could, to be fair. Could the people with the least amount of power expect? I mean, tell that to Sacco and Vanzetti. Tell that to the Scottsboro boys. Tell that to the Central Park Five. Can the people who have the least amount of tell that to the Rosenberg? Tell it to Ethel Rosenberg. Could the people who have no power expect equal protection in our justice system? Could they ever? If they couldn't in the first place, is it just worse now? Is that what's going on? We've always been fascist and now we've just gone full Nazi, because that's what I think is happening. Like, we've always been kind of fascist and now we're like we're just straight up Nazis now. It's just things are gone too far farther than you thought.
A Bay Area family is back home tonight from a trip to Canada. They just landed at SFO, where they say a United Airlines employee threatened to call ICE on one of them over a ticketing dispute earlier this week. The video of the incident has gone viral. NBC Bay Area's Tom Jensen is live at SFO for us tonight.
Viral
Tom,
video.
is it really a threat that one of them could be detained?
That was one of the things they were concerned about. They haven't heard from anybody who said that they would not be detained. And it was really scary for this family of four as they headed home to SFO tonight. All quiet at the United Counter tonight at SFO. Quite a contrast from Tuesday when the...
Okay, Antifa's anti-fascist the way Nazis were National Socialists. William Talenti, National Socialist is actually a perfect name for the Nazis. They were National Socialists. National Socialists meant they only believed in socialism for nationals, right? They only believe in socialism for a subsection of the public. They don't define the public as all of us. Do you think the public is all of us? Because most people think the public is all of us. The Nazis disagreed. They said only certain people are considered the public. Only certain people will receive the benefits of socialism. Socialism will still prioritize the benefit for a certain section of the public and not the rest. National Socialism and Nazis, that's what they were. They're still socialists. Donald Trump is still a socialist. Everyone's a socialist. Donald Trump just nationalized 10% of Intel. That's socialism. That's hard to say that isn't. Tariffs, that's socialism. Taking billions of dollars for the taxes in order to create a personal army that will benefit his constituents and the people that he likes. That's still socialism. It's a type of socialism. It's a flavor of socialism. It's just a flavor that is it's just a flavor called fascism. Antifa is anti that. That's what Antifa is. Read a book about the Antifa. There's a book called Antifa. You should read about it. Antifa goes a long way. Antifa. Everyone should be anti-fascist because what I just described means that all of us will suffer. But hey, some of us think that it's going to be okay. Do you think it's going to be okay? You think it's going to be okay? Antifa. You should be Antifa. I mean, my grandfather was Antifa. He went to Europe to kill Nazis. I think it's great. I think you should all be Antifa. Everyone should be Antifa. Every American. I used to think all of us were Antifa, but apparently, back when I was into the punk scene and stuff, it was always like we had those Nazi punks and you had Antifa or anti-racist. Antifa or autonomy, pro-autonomy people, anarchists. I just it's funny that, now everyone's like, well, they're mean, so they must be. No, man. They've always been mean to fascists. Antifa, they hate fascists. They hate racists. But they punch racists in the face. Yeah, that's the whole thing. They punch racists in the face. Yeah, that's the whole. Yeah. They want to stop that racist bullshit. But they're not tolerant. They never said they were tolerant. Anti-racists are not tolerant of racism. It literally is in the fucking name. But they're mean to fascists. They punch Nazis in the face. Yeah. Because they hate Nazis. They hate fascists. It's literally in the name. Antifa. They hate fascists. They hate racists. That's it. What's hard to understand about that? But they're mean. Yeah. Their whole fucking name is anti-fascist. It's not pro anything else. They're not saying they're pro communism or something. They're anti-fascists. That's it. Not a fucking hard concept, but they're mean. Well, when you're anti something, generally you're pretty fucking mean to that thing you're against. It'd be like if you were an anti-Toyota. You're anti-Toyota, and your whole identity is about being you hate Toyotas. And what do you think an anti-Toyota person might do? Might they burn down a Toyota factory? Maybe. Would they key a Toyota when they see him? Yeah. They're anti-Toyota. They're against him for whatever reason.
Varela family was trying to leave for a family trip to Canada.
What's your name? Because you're rude as hell.
Julio Varela says this United Airlines customer service representative refused to help fix an issue with his daughter's ticket, which had listed her last name as her middle name. After almost 3 hours.
Like, it's just so stupid. This whole Antifa, they're the real Nazi. Like, you're stupid. You're stupid. Like, Antifa was formed to fight Nazis and the fascists. I mean, like, Nazis were one of the first fascist parties, fascist political party. One of the first ones was the Nazis. And you're like, oh, that's the Antifa. They're the actual Nazis. It's just always the same thing. Because the tolerant left, there's no tolerant left. There's liberals. They're tolerant of Nazis. And Nazis, the second they get punched in the nose, they're like, oh my God, you're the real Nazi. You fucking bullies. You fucking shitty bullies. All you stupid, shitty bullies. All you shitty bullies. You get punched in the nose and you start crying. Oh, I'm the victim. Stop victimizing others. We'll stop punching you in the face, you pieces of garbage. MAGA. MAGA is just another 4-letter thing. Nazi, MAGA, same thing. Nazis and MAGA, same goddamn thing. Same rhetoric, same slogans, same political process, same policies.
He says an employee from United Partner Airlines was close to fixing the issue, but he says that United worker stepped in to dismiss them.
She walks over. She's like, "What? You're still here? Like, we already told you we can't do this."
Ooh, nice. Now you're gone. Now you're on some Antifa are commie scum. That's true. Some Antifa. But see, now you're getting into real nuance here. Okay. Lots of communists are Antifa. Lots of democratic socialists are Antifa. There's a lot of people who are in Antifa. Antifa is just a counter protest against fucking Nazis. Nazis march in the street, Antifa comes and beats their ass. That's it. Nazis come and beat up some black people, Antifa comes and beats up those Nazis. That's it. That's what Antifa is at the end of the day. They have organizations. They're not very organized. It's a group. It's more of an ideology. I'm anti-fascist. I'm Antifa. Of course I am. Of course I am. Anti-imperialist, if you will. It gets complicated when you get down because it's different people are involved in the same movement, right? There's a lot of different people who are against fascism. There's lots of people who are just there's a lot of Democrats who are Antifa. There's a lot of people just pro like libertarians. There's a lot of libertarians that are Antifa. Lots of libertarians are Antifa. There's nothing much more different than communist versus libertarian. There's a lot of they're very different, but they both hate fascism. Antifa, it gets complicated when you get down at the granular level, but just being like, they're communists, they're Nazis, it's just stupid.
She just starts to complain about it.
Varela says by phone, a different United rep told them to go to SFO early Tuesday, and customer service at the airport would fix the error that his wife had accidentally made when they booked their flight a few.
Ooh, Antifa is an international terrorist organization. Really? Where are they headquartered? They're international terrorist organization. Where are they headquartered? It's it's so clear when someone says something like that. They're like clearly propaganda. Like you're a victim of propaganda if you think something like that. Yeah, they're the international terrorist organization. Anybody that criticizes the government and hates racism, they're a terrorist.
Months ago, but he says this employee insisted it was his wife's fault and she wasn't going to help.
She said, "Well, I don't care. That's her problem. You take it up with her. I don't care if you guys fly out today or not." And that's when I got upset. And I said, "You know what? You are so rude. What's your name?" "What's your name, ma'am?"
He says the worker refused to identify herself.
"I'm asking for your name so I can report you."
She then pulled her own phone out and started recording. And that's when he says
Yeah, I think people that pull out their phones at airports and start recording the workers, go fuck yourself.
Threatened to call ICE.
Says maybe we need to call ICE on you. You're not acting like a citizen.
The video of the incident has gone viral.
Ooh, man, we're getting deep, man. This is where it starts. I'm gonna call ICE on you. You're not acting like an American. Ooh, lady.
Let me see what ICE on you. You gonna call ICE on me? Oh, say that again. Say that again. Maybe you need to be, because you don't act like a citizen. Get away. Who you calling?
Varela says he couldn't believe what he was hearing.
Which infuriated me because I am citizen number one. And for her...
Stop acting like a fucking douchebag, you know what I mean? Like, shit. You were being a douche, though, bro. You're being a fucking douche. She shouldn't have said that, but this guy's a douche.
To threaten me like that with ICE, especially with the state of politics now in America and what ICE is doing.
United Airlines has a racist customer service lady.
And after another minute or so of back and forth between the two, you see the United worker's hand come up and Varela's phone go dark.
No, you didn't help nothing. And don't touch me.
Julio says the United employee hit his hand and his phone.
And when she pushed me, it caused me to squeeze it. But then I realized I stopped it, and so I turned it back on again.
On top of being threatened with ICE, he says he was also assaulted. We reached out to United Airlines and the employees union leadership. United said, quote, "We're looking into the interaction in this video, but don't have anything additional to share at this time."
Makes sense to me. Hey, looks like this guy acted like an asshole, and this worker had enough. Makes sense to me. Man, it must suck right now to work in airports. Can you imagine all these fucking assholes? I had a whole life of working in service, and it was okay. Like, I have some horror stories, but man, after COVID, y'all changed. Y'all got crazy. Y'all been crazy. Even towards before COVID, people with their World Star. Remember the World Star. Holy shit, man. Everyone with their cameras thinking that they're Donald Trump, that they can tweet their way to your destruction. People, I'm going to tweet this and you're going to be destroyed. God damn it. Everyone thinks they're Donald Trump. That's the problem, man. Everyone, even in the first term, people, because remember he used to get in like Twitter battles with people and it made to the news. Everyone thought that if they got in a Twitter battle that they would be in the news. And like, seriously, they would come into restaurants and act the fool, and you'd be like, all right, it's time for you to go, you got to leave. And they're like, I'm gonna tweet this, you're gonna be destroyed on social media. Yeah, okay, buddy, you're not Donald Trump. Okay, your fucking Yelp review is not going to destroy my life. Your tweet will not destroy my life, okay? You can tweet all the fuck you want. Do you remember in 2016 when people thought they could tweet to destroy? Tweet to destroy. You will be destroyed by my Twitter feed. Fuckers. Unbelievable. Like, and it's getting worse. Of course it's worse. I'll get my camera out now. Everyone thinks they're Donald Trump. I could say the R word now.
Documents released by the Trump administration list Colorado's voter rolls as being compromised by China. But another document in the stack showed that China simply downloaded those publicly available files. Anyone can get them. This would be like saying that you have compromised a 7-Eleven Slurpee by walking into the store and purchasing one. They're not a secret. Anyone is allowed to get them. Our Spencer Soysher explains.
Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption.
Manipulation and corruption. I don't know how people are susceptible to manipulation and corruption. I wouldn't know anything about that. I never knew that. How do you become manipulative?
President Donald Trump's attempt to prove
Venezuela
foreign election interference. He said newly declassified documents show shocking revelations that China hacked or stole voter rolls. The documents released by the White House Thursday on China's acquisition of voter data mentioned Colorado 3 times.
As far as hacking, no, it's publicly available.
Republican El Paso.
They hacked publicly available. Oh my God, they hacked Wikipedia. Anybody can edit that, sir. They hacked
Wikipedia. They hacked it. The crack team of hackers, they hacked Wikipedia. Now there's no turning back. The Chinese.
County Clerk Steve Schleicher watched Trump's speech. Found nothing shocking. Colorado's voter rolls can be purchased by anyone.
It's less of a hack and more of an access to public information.
Denver Elections Director Todd Davidson, who works under a Democrat clerk, showed us how to do it in Denver.
This is our website. Scroll down to election data.
It doesn't take a Chinese hacker to get Denver's voter roll. It took less than 10 clicks right from the city's own website.
The zip.
In fact, an American might be able to do it even more easily than a Chinese person, arguably, because they were raised. Oh, actually, a Chinese person probably speaks better English than an American at this point, or reads at a higher grade level than an American, because Americans don't read anymore. I mean, maybe Chinese people, maybe they should be in charge. Maybe they should. Maybe we should just hand it over to them, you know, like, hey, we fucked this world up pretty bad in the last 100 years. China, have at her. See ya. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, we had to do that one.
The precinct number the split style of the ballot, it allows voters to see for themselves who's voting on the ballot. Of course, it doesn't allow them to see who they voted for.
El Paso County also lets you do it.
The state has these out there as a downloadable file.
These claims of a shocking revelation.
Not at all, Spencer.
I would love for voters.
Oh my God, this shit's terrorism. How dare they show this on the TV? How dare you show people how to hack? They're showing hacking on TV. What is happening in America? This is why the Chinese have all of our voting information, because they show it on TV. They're telling them how to do it. How is it gonna wake up fucking the Chinese?
If they don't buy it, come on in and see it.
The documents released by the White House also touch on vulnerabilities. Both Davidson and Schleicher say that's nothing new either. They know there are vulnerabilities in an election. And that's why there are layers upon layers upon layers of additional security in case there is one. And Colorado also uses paper. Whether you vote by mail or in person, every vote is auditable, Kyle.
Spencer, I'm reminded of the phrase, everything is a conspiracy if you don't know how anything works. And Colorado's county clerks do a lot of this proactive education, where if somebody says, hey, I think there's something up, they're like, yeah, come in and take a look. We'll answer your questions.
They're doing that. And you ask them, like, do you fear for your staff? Like when something like what happened last night happens on a national stage, and maybe
do you fear for your staff since Donald Trump is saying really crazy shit about the people that work with you? Yes. The president of the United States is saying crazy lies about our coworkers. So yes, don't forget to like and subscribe if you feel like a political orphan. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you feel like Donald Trump is losing his mind.
Conversation about a rigged election has toned down at some point, just ramps it back up. The Denver clerk said, yeah, we are concerned. Like, this is scary. You never know what somebody's going to think when they hear claims, and maybe they don't understand how it works, like you said.
Yeah, last year we saw the firebombing of the clerk's office in Archuleta County. Yeah. All right, Spencer Swisher, thank you.
They're firebombing the clerks, and Donald Trump's like, gotta tone down the rhetoric. Fucking these clerks and the Chinese, they're in cahoots. Why do you think they keep firebombing? Why do you think MAGAs keep attacking poll workers and voter registration people? And why do you think they keep doing that stuff? So weird. It's such a weird little phenomenon. Such a weird little phenomenon. Why do they keep doing that shit?
More than anything, we just really want folks to know that there is potential, that other homes could be built like this, and just to be aware.
This is a situation you need to see to believe.
Man, I'm buying a new house right now. I'm freaking out. I see shit like this. I got to watch it. Let's see.
Families said it learned the hard way that contractors built their home's garage over a void. Rusted out steel struggled to hold up the concrete slab of the garage as the family continued to park their two cars over top with kids.
I stared into the void, and the void stared back. It was in the bottom of my garage. What the fuck is happening here?
Kids jumping in and out heading to sports practices. Now, insurance is denying their claim, and they say the popular home builder doesn't want to get involved.
KDK investigator Megan Schiller joins us now to share what the family's word of warning is. Megan.
They have a void under their house? What is this like? It's like Amityville Horror.
Well, Chris and Christine, this family from North Huntington says for the past month, they have been dealing with something they never expected. And
I love news broadcasts that have like the dudes hanging out in the background. Like, what's this guy looking at? He's just like chilling. I think he's looking at that green. He's looking at that plant. He's just having a good time. He's just like, what a job, what a life. I'm pondering the universe, the void. I'm looking into the void. This guy's staring into the void right now.
Honestly, they say at first, maybe you'd think, oh, it's cool to find extra space in your home. But they say that is definitely not the case when you realize that it's putting the structural integrity of your home at risk. Beneath this seemingly normal front-facing two-car garage is a lot of dead space, but the Holderfield family just found out about it.
I hate to say shocking, but it's not something that we really wanted to be like the first one on the street to find out.
We didn't crawl down for safety reasons, but the family shared these videos. So what is down there?
Well, some leftover cinder blocks and even a Lowe's bucket. It is, you can actually stand all the way down here on
A Lowe's bucket? What the fuck's
this side.
What's in the bucket?
A lot of backfill, and then we did see that it was weatherproofed on some of the walls.
This all started because Nicole Holderfield simply wanted to fix the growing number of large cracks popping up all across her garage floor.
We were starting the cosmetic fix, and our contractor was here, and with a sledgehammer, he wanted to start to see what he was working with. So he simply pounded down the sledgehammer.
And this is what she found.
Did he fall in?
In the 30-year-old Ryan home they never knew about. It's a large void directly underneath the garage, not accessible from their finished basement. With just one weatherproofed wall, the family says moisture rusted away the single support column and
oh no, moisture.
The steel rebar attempting to carry the weight of an entire two-car garage.
A couple different companies did stop by, and they were in awe of what they found. Even the North Huntington inspector came out, took a look, was not something that he has been familiar with seeing.
The inspector encouraged the Holderfields to hide.
close. Let's leave a void. You know, nature abhors. Nature hates a void. Nature hates a void. Nature will fill a void, as is evidenced here. It started rusting. It's like, it must be filled. A void must be filled. The void must be filled. The void is coming for the whole home. If they just let it go, everything would end up in that hole, man.
A structural engineer. They did, and they received this report. It concluded the issue was the result of poor workmanship and faulty construction. The family's homeowner's insurance denied the claim, saying defects from faulty construction are excluded from coverage.
Oh, ding dang do. Oh, no.
Knowing that we were parking our cars in here up until we found this problem, we do have children and animals, and just knowing that the catastrophe could come, I think that's our biggest concern.
That's why the family called Ryan Homes and alerted all of their neighbors with similar builds and floor plans.
They really just took a look and took pictures. When we did speak to the one gentleman at Ryan Homes, he said, this was 30 years ago. There were different laws back then.
Different laws back in the 30 years. Really? They said that you could just put a hole under the garage and let it rust?
KK Investigates reached out to Ryan Homes for comment to ask, is this still the practice of Ryan Homes to build these dead spaces? And if so, should other homeowners who live in Ryan Homes inspect further? Ryan Homes did not respond to our request for comment. KDK Investigates also talked to a Cranberry resident who also...
Ryan Holmes should have got involved immediately and be like, yo, we don't know what happened. We're going to pay for it all. Fucking no big deal. It's only going to cost a couple $1,000s. What's it going to cost to do this? $10,000, $50,000. It's going to be worth every penny to get these guys to shut the fuck up. Now no one's going to trust a Ryan Holmes. I never even heard of Ryan. I have heard of Ryan Holmes, but I never even heard of Ryan Holmes until this. And now I'm never buying something built by Ryan Holmes. Don't buy something from Ryan Holmes. I'm saying it right now. They're going to put a void. There's a Cthulhu down there, homie. They got the elder gods down in that void. You can't put a void under the house. They got Crathers down there. They got a Balrog down there. There's a Balrog down there, man. The dwarves dug too deep.
Who lives in a Ryan home built around the same time.
The dwarves dug too deep, homie. Don't go down. You will not pass. They got Gandalf down there. He's going down. It's a bad news. Don't go to Ryan Holmes for your house, homie.
She sent us these photos showing the wet tire marks where her car drove over and broke through the concrete last year.
Damn.
When the garage floor failed, it revealed this 9-foot void. She said it took 4 triaxle...
That looks like where they found Saddam Hussein. That looks like the place they'll eventually pull Donald Trump out of. This looks like the place they pulled. This looks like the place they're going to find Donald Trump in a few years. Pull him out of here once he's in hiding. This looks like the place where they found Saddam Hussein. The spider hole.
Trucks full of fill and $20,000 to fix. Holderfield says that makes her wonder.
Holy shit. Wait, what the fuck did they say? How much?
4 triaxle trucks full of fill and $20,000 to fix.
$20,000? You tell me Ryan Holmes ain't got $20,000 sitting around that can help this lady with their damn void? I'll fill your void, lady. Oh, honey, baby, I'll fill your void, lady.
Holderfield says that makes her
$20,000. I'll fill anybody's void.
wonder who else could find this.
I would love for people to be held accountable, but I also understand the laws and that we could potentially be out of the warranty period is what they say. I do wish that we could have them stand behind their work or help us get this fixed.
I mean, $20K is going to destroy her, but $20K is not going to destroy Ryan Holmes, and they could write it off. You know, they can write it off. Ryan Holmes, do the right thing. Ryan Holmes, cheaper than Ryanair. Just cheap shit. Don't buy something from Ryan Holmes. They'll put a void in your garage, and you don't want that.
So more than anything, this family and
This guy, he can't believe he's seeing the void. This guy in the orange shirt, he's just like, fuck, man. I stared into the void.
Huntington says they want people to be aware of this, and they want people to know that this is a possibility. And honestly, they say every contractor, every inspector, every building professional that has come out there has said the same thing. They have never seen it.
I thought the same thing. I said Amityville Horror, but I really meant the house from Poltergeist, right? You son of a bitch. You moved the headstones, but you left the bodies. And now my house is haunted. And for some reason, my wife, like, was that like the ghost raped the wife in that movie, right? That was a rape scene. That was a ghost rape scene, right? That was what happened, right? Are we all in agreement? Like when I was a kid, I thought the mom, she got her shirt pulled up and had like her underwear and everything. That was nasty stuff going on in that movie. I recently rewatched it and I was like, oh, that was definitely a rape scene that we just watched in this children's horror movie called Poltergeist. Oopsie daisy.
Anything like
In all my time and years covering shootings by law enforcement, often local police, one of the things that inevitably happens fairly quickly is that the shooter is identified, or shooters. Because
remember the good old days when there were shootings and they identified the shooter like that? Remember those good old days? They'd be like, oh yeah, somebody shot somebody. Here's the guy's name.
After all, these are public officials. They're wielding public power, and we in the public have a right to know who they are, right? Whether they acted wrongly or not. It's a public matter of information. But that is not what happens after DHS officers kill someone in the Trump era. Now, instead, there's a cover-up, an all-hands-on-deck attempt to hide the identities of the agents involved as if that were a secret or a private matter. But we still live in a free country. Reporters have a job to do, which is find out the truth. And this week, very fine reporters at the Associated Press and the
What, the Evil Dead? The Evil Dead, was it rapey? I don't remember the Evil Dead being rapey. Was it? The Evil Dead 2 was the funny one, right? I don't remember the Evil Dead as much as I do the funny ones. Was it rapey? Was Evil Dead rapey? I don't remember that.
Portland Press Herald have learned that the officer who killed a 25-year-old father in Biddeford, Maine this week is in fact 37-year-old David Brulett. Several close relatives, including 2 ex-wives and 1 daughter, told the AP that Brulett struggles with psychiatric issues.
Yeah, and they made him an ICE agent. He beats his girlfriends and beats the shit out of people, and he's like, I want a gun.
Was diagnosed with severe bipolar disorder as a child, has a history of domestic violence and verbal abuse, and should never have been given a law enforcement badge.
That's exactly who we give a law enforcement badge to in America. Are you kidding me? That's a prime candidate. Who the fuck else wants to be a cop these days? Who especially wants to be an ICE agent? Who wants to be an ICE agent? Except if you're bipolar, you got a weird fascination with guns, and you hate immigrants. Who the hell else wants to be an ICE agent? Or you're poor. That helps. If you're poor, that $50K over 5 years sounds pretty good. They saw the $50,000 signing bonus, but it's $10,000 a year, which they could just put that in your salary, but they call it a signing bonus. After 5 years, they say, go fuck yourself, I guess.
One of Brulett's ex-wives, Ashley, who he married.
I guess they're hoping by at the end of 5 years, it'll be like, well, all other political parties are illegal, and unless you're working for the state, there's nothing left. It's a totalitarian rule in 5 years. Maybe that's why it's only going to last 5 years. It's a signing bonus for 5 years if you join ICE. They could have just raised the salaries, but no.
After they graduated high school in 2007, told the AP that he once threw boiling water at her while she was holding their child. Her mother also recounted the incident. Ashley says she divorced him in 2009 because of repeated instances of physical violence, which nevertheless continued after she left him. He later remarried, divorced again in 2019. His second ex-wife.
Is this guy Graham Plattner? Did Graham Plattner join ICE? Is that who shot him? Is it Graham Plattner? I think this might be. Did Graham Plattner throw boiling water on his wife? We've discovered it. It just sounds like Graham Plattner joined ICE. That's what it sounds like to me.
Filed for legal protection because of his abuse. The AP did not identify her because she fears retaliation. But the Associated Press did obtain hundreds of family court records detailing years of physical and verbal abuse against her and their daughters. Allegations like tackling his teenage daughter and dragging her around the house as she cried.
Oh, bro, they already do. Like, you know that they give you money, and then if you quit, you got to pay it back. So there's people, they get the $10,000 signing bonus, and then they spend that money, right? Because they're poor, and then they got to stay for the whole year because if they quit, they got to pay back the $10,000 or go to jail. So basically, now if you are in ICE and you did it because you were poor and you needed that 10 grand, and now you're in a situation that you don't want to be in because you realize now that it isn't what it was all cracked up to be and what they promised, you cannot leave. You basically are an indentured servant at this point, because if you leave before your first year is up, you got to give them $10,000 because you done spent it. Because who the fuck, what would you do if you were poor as shit and someone gave you $10,000? You probably pay off your credit cards. You probably do whatever the fuck you need to do with $10,000. Everyone's got debt. Everyone's got shit to do with 10K, right? If I gave you 10K, you would find a way to get rid of that money real fast. And so they did. And now they're stuck in ICE and they can't leave.
Estranged immediate relative who spoke to the AP on the condition of anonymity said that Brulett grew up fascinated with the military.
Wait a second. ICE is needed, but they don't need people like you crying about illegals roaming our streets. What the fuck are you talking about? ICE is needed. Somehow ICE was not needed for, almost 220 years or something. Well, how long was it? 225 years, 29, almost 230 years. We had no ICE in America. And for some reason in 2004, we needed them. Now it's just, you got to have them. You got to have them. We can't survive without ICE. We didn't have them for 230 years and life was great. The America still did fine without ICE for 230 years. But now, of course, we need ICE. It's a necessity. We can't live without them. That's a weird statement. These weird statements saying like we need them. Like fucking who says we need them? Why do we need them? Why do we need ICE? Why do we need ICE, everybody? Can someone tell me, please?
Law enforcement pledging to eventually join their ranks. They said he was initially rejected by military recruiters because of his mental health diagnoses. But under guidance from recruiters, he went off his medications for a year, then reapplied. He was.
Oh, wait. Yeah, when we didn't have illegal gangs roaming in the controlling the streets. Are you fucking stupid? Chris Collins, I thought the fucking job of ICE, you dumb piece of shit. Are you fucking stupid? ICE, Immigration and Custom Enforcement. What the fuck's that got to do with illegal gangs? Gangs are policed by the cops and the sheriff. Do we have cops and sheriff? You dumb piece of shit. Who the fuck? We even got the FBI and even the CIA. But, the CIA basically funds the gangs, and then they come here, and then we fight them in the streets with our police and our sheriffs. Are you stupid? And the FBI. What are you talking about? ICE does not fight gangs, illegal street gangs. That's not ICE's job. They're immigration and customs enforcement. Not illegal street gang policing. Jesus Christ, people are so stupid. We need ICE because gangs. What the fuck? We've had gangs in the United States of America since before it was called the United States of America. We had gangs, and we had cops fighting gangs, and we had community organizers fighting gangs, and we had community gangs versus the gangs. We had all sorts of gang problems in America since almost day one. Holy shit. Almost day one. We've had gangs in America. The long history of gangs. Street gangs, I'm talking about, not like organized crime like mafia and stuff. Street gangs have been a thing. That's why we got neighborhood watches. That's why we got all sorts of shit. That's why we got neighborhood mutual defense structures and stuff like that. Back in the old days, they had militias to take care of gangs. Later on, they converted slave patrols to gangs. Slave patrols were just gangs. And then they turned those into cops, and they had to do something until they started doing, fighting gangs. So we've always had gangs. That's nothing to do with fucking ICE.
Eventually able to enlist. He served in the National Guard from 2007 to 2010, then joined the regular army, deploying to Afghanistan from May 2012 to February 2013 before leaving the army as a sergeant in 2015. The AP and the Press Herald report he went on to hold several different.
Yeah, I think cops should walk around the streets. I think you should walk around, get some exercise. You goddamn cops, get some exercise. Walk around, see if something pops off. Put them on bicycles, do something. I don't care. Put them in cars. Do whatever you need to do. I don't give a shit. I hate cops, but you know what? If you got to have them, if you think that cops are necessary, then you have no imagination. If you think cops are necessary, you have no imagination. But whatever. If you think gangs are a problem, the people we have in place to do that are called cops and sheriffs. That's the ostensible point, and the FBI. But all together, they're all cops, right? So like law enforcement organizations, LEOs, if you will.
Jobs, many in law enforcement, including at a medium security prison. He joined ICE in late 2025 as the agency.
Stop hating on authority. Never. I'll never stop hating on authority. Are you crazy? You just bend over like you and take it in my asshole, spread my cheeks like a little bitch like you? Nah, I'm never going to do that. Sorry. I don't like the feeling of concrete on my knees. I don't like that feeling. Don't tread on me, motherfucker. Why don't you go to Afghanistan and pray to your Taliban? Why don't you go to El Salvador and lick the boots of Bukele? You like having a dictator so much. You like authority so much. Go join. Stop trying to make American authoritarian. Stop trying to make America authoritarian. Go to an authoritarian country if you like it so much. Go to Saudi Arabia. You'll love it there. Chris Collins loves the taste of boot leather, loves the taste of the concrete on his knees. There are fewer illegal immigrants in the States than now and then 2015. I just Google. It's never immigration. First of all, well, I didn't need to fucking. Immigration is absolutely necessary. First of all, it's an expression of simply human beings wanting to move around. There's no reason why immigration shouldn't happen. There's no reason to be scared of immigration. There's no reason to be, and if you are afraid of immigration, then you should, cease having foreign policy that creates refugees, because they don't hate immigrants, do they? They love rich people who want to immigrate. They just hate poor people who want to immigrate, and those are refugees or asylum seekers. And now they're calling them illegals, but all those Somalis, for example, all those Somalis that you keep on hearing being called illegals, or all the Venezuelans that people calling illegals, those are asylum seekers. They're not here illegally. They're just being called illegals because it's shorthand for brown and poor, and we don't want you here. That's all. They're not actually even illegals. These fucking illegals aren't even illegal. They're not even here illegally.
He was ramping up its recruitment. Reporting at the time showed that, quote, some new ICE recruits have shown up to training without full vetting. Around this time, Brulett left a voicemail for his first wife, Ashley, which he shared with the AP. In it, he repeatedly called her disgusting and suggested that she and the other women and girls in her bloodline should, quote, have your effing throats cut. Ashley told the AP, the Press Herald, that this week Brulett admitted to the fatal shooting in a phone.
Calling you names, yeah, I mean, you started it, right? You started it, honey pie. Listen, Chris Collins, we all have authority in our lives, like it or not. That's true, we do. Now it's up to you what to do with that. If you want to bend over and take it like a bitch, then go for it. I don't. I want to slow them down. I want to be high friction because that's what it is to be an American. Just put your fucking middle finger up and slow down the bosses, because if you let them continue to run roughshod over all of us, you, your children, your grandchildren will live in an increasingly worse world. You must slow down the bosses. That's your fucking duty. You can just, if you think your job is to make their jobs easier, then you've already lost. It sounds like you do. Stop hating authority. That's your job. Hate authority. Well, we have it, so it's here, so we might as well get used to it and love it. No. People like you get tarred and feathered in the street when the revolution comes. The collaborators of kings get tarred and feathered in the streets. You get your hair chopped off at the end of the war. All these, it doesn't go well for you collaborate. You think that if you just go along with it, it's going to be okay for you. But don't forget, even the good little Nazis still had to show their paper everywhere and had their people that they loved put into concentration camps. It's just, you think everything's going to be okay if you just go along with it, but it doesn't go okay. It never does. For the legalist, loyalist, people like Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche, it doesn't go okay for them. People like Cohen, it doesn't go okay for them. Never. Himmler gets hanged. They all get hanged in the end. Because again, we always go back to this. Every 100 years, we see this bloodbath happen. And unless something really crazy changes, we are barreling towards something very, very, historically inevitable. The ancient tension between inherited hierarchy and power versus everything belongs to everybody and the public is everyone and humanity is all in this together. Those two conflicting ideas is the great tension of humanity. And, well, it doesn't usually go well for the powerful over time because there's so few of them. There's only 900 billionaires. That's just a math problem waiting to be solved, man. We got lots of guns in this country. That's just a math problem waiting. It doesn't matter. You can kill 1 million of us. It won't matter because there's only 900 billionaires.
Call with her. She said he asked her to, quote, lie for him and to cover for his character. That the most important thing is his character right now. Ashley also spoke to NPR, telling their reporter she worries racism may have played a part in the shooting. Quote, he has displayed racism. His nickname in high school was White Boy David, if that tells you anything. Now, I want to be clear, David Brulett did not respond to NPR AP's request for comment. ICE gave this statement, quote, we will never confirm or deny attempts to dox our law enforcement officers. The ICE officer in question has nearly a decade of federal law enforcement experience with required training.
Saying their name is not doxing them.
Including use of force training. From where things stand now, it looks like Republicans funded a massive ICE hiring spree. ICE failed to adequately vet its new hires. A conservative Supreme Court has basically cleared the way for racial profiling in ICE stops. And now, yet another father is dead at the hands of federal agents.
How many more will die?
The search is on for U.S. service.
Fox News alert! There's somebody missing. Looks like we finally lost another guy in Iran. I almost said Afghanistan. I mean, 20 years is hard. I mean, I remember when we went to Afghanistan 20 years later, we were still there. Finally, we got out, and now we're back in the Gulf states.
Member missing in action in Jordan, where 2 others were killed yesterday, defending against Iranian missile and drone attacks. Lucas Tomlinson is in Tel Aviv. He is live with the latest for us. Lucas.
And John, the State Department has just issued a brand new worldwide caution urging Americans to think twice about any travel to the Middle East. It was released just about 40 minutes ago on the travel.gov website. Due to heightened tensions in the Middle East, the security environment remains complex with the potential for unseen escalation. And that's exactly what we saw in neighboring Jordan, John, last night when Iran fired multiple intermediate-range ballistic missiles that made it through U.S. air defense systems, hit a base in Jordan with dozens of U.S. Air Force.
Wait, I thought that we obliterated all of their missiles. Donald Trump told me that we killed all their drones and 3 levels of their leadership, and they had no capabilities, that they had no navy and no missiles. How the hell did they shoot missiles to get through our aerial defenses? How did that happen? I thought so. You're telling me Donald Trump's a fucking liar? Are you telling me Donald Trump lied about this? Donald Trump lied? What's going on, everybody? Are you telling me Donald Trump's a liar about this? About the come on, about Iran?
Personnel at the base, F-16s, F-15s, F-35 stealth fighter jets. We know from U.S. Military Central Command that there are at least 2.
Yeah, I thought they were on their knees. We'll bring them to their knees. We will shoot them in the head. We roll in Iran. We will take them to the dark ages. Do you remember when Donald Trump did his Hitler speech about how we were going to take them down to dust and they were going to be nothing? And we killed all of their leaders. 3, the first leader we killed, the second leader we killed, the third leader we killed, the 4th leader. Remember that? Do you remember when Donald Trump did that? Do you tell me it's not true? What happened?
U.S. service members killed in action. 1 remains missing, as you mentioned. Also, 4 others were wounded. Also want to remind viewers that earlier today, before this news about the recent casualties in Jordan, there were 13 American troops wounded just earlier this week, John.
What?
As Iran has stepped up its attacks.
I didn't even hear about those 13 wounded.
On neighboring Gulf countries, Bahrain, in Jordan, and certainly in Kuwait, where we saw a desalination plant get hit, a power plant get hit for Kuwaitis drinking water. Why are they attacking?
Don't forget to like and subscribe, because Trump never lied. And don't forget to buy Melania Coin. Melania Coin is the most important financial tool for the future prosperity of America. It's endorsed by the First Lady and the Donald President himself. Donald Trump, the president himself. Melania Coin. It is going to the moon. I'm buying Melania Coin. I'm selling my house and buying Melania Coin. I'm going to sell my house, buy Melania Coin, and live in a hole, because I know Donald Trump never lies, and that this cryptocurrency is going to the moon. Shut up.
In Kuwait, John, we have a lot of U.S. assets there. We have U.S. Army firing HIMARS, surface-to-surface missiles from Kuwait. We also have Ali Salim Air Base, major transit point. Bahrain is home to the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet, and in Jordan, a major U.S. Air Force presence. From a lot of our viewers, we've been focusing primarily on the Navy over the last 4 months of this war. There's a large U.S. Air Force presence.
Why? Why are we focusing on the Navy when they're clearly bombing the shit out of whatever, man?
Certainly here in Israel and also next door in Jordan as well, John.
I see Kuwait, and I can't help you like, this aggression will not stand.
Like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube.
Do you guys remember when like this aggression will not stand? Saddam Hussein, and they had like Big Lebowski being like, this aggression will not stand, man. I got a Caucasian here, man. You're not into the whole brevity thing?
And catch full shows
Call me the dude if you're not into the brevity thing.
I talk about our pride in being a sanctuary.
No, call me Duderino. That's how it is. You can call me Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing. I'm the dude.
In terms of the policies that we practice, what we are unwilling to do is to participate in civil immigration enforcement with a federal government that has said openly it wants to deport a vast majority of people for crimes that we will never even know. That is where I think I see the tension. Have you ever?
Huh. So like Adolf Hitler did. He said everyone was guilty of a crime and that they had to deport a bunch of people based on the fact that they were part of a certain group, and just appointed judges to carry that out. So like that, is that what we're against? Cool. I'm against it too.
Into the U.S.-Mexico border?
No.
As we just heard there, Democrat Mayor Zohran Mamdani declaring pride for the sanctuary city he runs, refusing to cooperate with immigration officers. The socialist also admitting that he's never even been to the border.
White House Border Czar Tom Homan joins us now to react. Tom, thanks for being here. What's your reaction to what you just heard from Mamdani?
That's my Tom Homan impersonation.
Well, look, he can have his opinion, but he's not going to stop ICE from doing their job. What he
We'll do our job. We go the Nuremberg defense. You got to love the Nuremberg defense. There's always going to be some guy saying, hey, we had to do it. It was our job. Brondo has what plants need. Electrolytes. We're just doing our job. Just doing our job, guys. Shut up. Shut up. We're doing our job.
Good do is go talk to the parents of Lake and Riley. Because there's a place.
Lake and Riley. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Remember Lake and Riley? Remember everything was Lake. Remember Lake and Riley? That's why we got to kill all the immigrants. Lake and Riley. Lake and Riley. That's what they did. Lake and Riley. Is that every time? Lake and Riley. Lake and Riley.
That alien that killed her was arrested in New York City.
Oh man, I don't know how you made it past the 8th grade. Well, it wasn't by just doing what I'm told, little bitch. I got fancy degrees from fancy colleges, homie. I went all the way to the top, buddy. Got fancy degrees from all the fancy universities and stuff. I got fancy diplomas and certificates and all that shit, man. I got awards. I won awards, homie. I was nominated for big awards too. I got nominated for a Pulitzer Prize, son. What you got nominated for, homie? What kind of awards you win, homie? King of the Bender Rovers? You're the king of the Bender Rovers? Is that your the most lubed up butthole? What were you in high school? Most likely to lube up his butthole for the government? Was that your Christopher Collins? Was that your thing? Lake and Riley. Lake and Riley. It's Lake and Riley, everybody. Do you guys remember Lake and Riley? All immigrants must die for Lake and Riley. But wait a second. More citizens commit rape than non-citizens. Yeah, but they're not brown. So we got to get all the brown ones out first, especially if they weren't born here. I mean, it doesn't matter. But these people are here legally, though. Doesn't matter. Lake and Riley. But these people came here legally. Lake and Riley.
Got better. If it wasn't sanctuary city, he would have been handed over to us and he'd been locked up, probably deported. Go talk to her family. You know, he talks about he doesn't want to assist in civil immigration enforcement. Okay, so why'd you lock us out of Rikers Island?
Because that's a jail, and those people have not faced criminal prosecution yet. Rikers Island is a jail at which people are awaiting trial. And then if they get convicted, they will do time. We don't need ICE agents there fucking with that system that's already fucked up. It's already fucked up system. There's people sitting in Rikers Island for like 5 years and shit when they're supposed to have a speedy trial according to the Constitution. The average person at Rikers Island stays there from 11 to 12 months, a year, awaiting trial because they're too poor to bail themselves out, or bail has been denied. So Rikers Island, ICE being in Rikers Island's a bad fucking idea. They should have never been at Rikers Island. They should not be at Rikers Island. It's not an immigration jail. It's a jail for people who we think committed crimes. And if they didn't commit a crime and they're innocent, because everyone at Rikers Island is presumed innocent until proven guilty, because that's America, right? We're jailing innocent people at Rikers Island. We're jailing innocent people at Rikers Island. A lot of people at Rikers Island are just innocent, awaiting trial. Why should ICE be there?
It's all criminals. So he just don't want immigration.
It's all criminals. You see that? Fucking unconstitutional piece of shit. Listen to him.
Okay, so why'd you lock us out of Rikers Island? Because that's all criminals.
It's all criminals. Wait a second. In America, you're innocent until proven guilty, I thought. But people at Rikers Island, a jail at which people are waiting trial, you're saying before their trial that they're criminals. They're not criminals. A lot of people are just there because they got caught up in some bullshit. A lot of people have been falsely committed. A lot of people have been falsely accused. A lot of people, they were caught with unpaid parking tickets. And they just had too many because they were poor. They might not ever really do any time. They're all criminals. They're all criminals. Rikers Island, they're all criminals. Not true. Not true.
So he just don't want immigration law enforced. And he's damn right. Every illegal alien in this nation that's here illegally, across the border illegally, which is a crime, needs to be.
Most of the people that they're going after did not cross the border illegally. Thank you. They came here legally and either outstayed their visa or sought asylum. And neither of those groups are people who cross the border illegally. Go fuck yourself.
Deported. That's called the rule of law. If he doesn't like it, call your members of Congress, tell them to change the law. But
change the law. We're following the law. We're just doing our job. Just doing our job, everybody.
He's right. President Trump is sitting in the Oval Office today because of his promise to secure the border. We have the most secure border in the history of this nation.
No, we do not have the most secure border in the history of the nation. Also not true. The border's the same as it ever was. It's just a fucking border. People cross borders. Most people come to this country on airplanes. They're not crossing the border, swimming through the fucking river and shit. I know people who have, by the way. But, you know, it's different these days. It's not that hard to cross the border, though. It ain't that hard. Every time you go to Mexico, you see people crossing the border. People just going, there's the line, and there's other people going that way. And you're like, oh, that's not legal. How dare you cross a border? How dare you, human being, cross a border?
No. And because he promised mass deportations, which we're doing. Matter of fact, you know, I read in a lot of social media posts that we're not living up to it. Just a bunch of crap, right? Were numbers down a few months ago? Yes. Why? Because the government shut down. Why was the government shut down? Because of the chaos in Minnesota that we fixed, right?
You fixed the chaos in Minnesota? Wait a second. By shooting those human beings in the face? Citizens, by the way.
So once we got turned down with the money, once the reconciliation bill passed, we're hitting on all cylinders. In June, last month, ICE arrested more illegal aliens than any.
Yeah, we need to have a wall. Again, most people do not come to the country coming across the border. Do I need to? Most people come to this country. They get a fucking visa, like a tourist visa or some shit, or they come here for all different ways they get into the country, not come across and over the fucking border, and they get here maybe on a I don't know, a fiance visa, and they get here and they're like, I don't like this person, I don't want to marry them, and it's now they're here for 90 days, and they're like, you know what, kind of like it here though. I met somebody else that I fell in love with, and now they're in love with somebody else. And they're still now, but their visa's expired. Oh no, illegal! They're illegal. They don't have their paperwork in on time. You're illegal. You forgot your paperwork. How dare you? There's a bunch of people like all the Somalis that they're calling illegal that are not illegal. They just call them all illegal. When you hear illegal, it gives you a little feeling, right? It makes you feel like they broke the law. Most of these motherfuckers never broke a law. Some of them fucked up their paperwork. Most of them are just waiting for their day in court to show that they have a reason to be here to seek asylum. That's it. That's all. Not that big of a deal, guys.
Time in the history of the agency. And in July, we're on track to beat that. So we're hitting all cylinders. Yeah, the numbers are down for a while because the government shut down, but now we're hitting all cylinders. And we still got a couple of thousand more agents to hire. So it's going to continue to increase.
You know, Tom, staying on New York, Governor Kathy Hochul recently signed legislation essentially making New York a sanctuary state. You threatened her if she did so that we would see more ICE agents in New York City than we've ever seen before. I know that you've also reviewed operational plans. What's the latest on that? When can we expect to see those ICE agents?
You'll see me at a press event when it's over.
He always acts like he's so fucking cute. When it's over, you'll see. I've got another twick up my sleeve. He's like the kid. You know what he's like? He's like watching a kid with Down syndrome show you magic tricks, except not cute. You know, Down syndrome kids showing you magic tricks. There's some charm to it. You know, you play along because they're sweet people. But except this guy. Tom Homan is not sweet. He's a murderer. He's an evil bastard. But he likes to pretend like, oh, I'm really sweet. Look at, I'll let you know after the press conference. I'll tell you all about it. Wink, and wink.
That's a tease.
I'm not going to forecast any enforcement operation. But here's another politician that says she said 100 times she believes in the enforcement of immigration law against
40%, William. Are here from legal visa flights. The other large groups that they're trying to fuck with, like the ones you see them going to courts and the ICE like beats their heads and separates families and stuff. They're at court because they are here legally. They're going for their day in court. But rather than getting their due process, they're getting arrested before they go into the court. You see, those aren't the same people, though. Those are asylum seekers mostly, or people who are trying to be sponsored to become citizens or sponsored to get green cards. Like, for example, I know people who have been here for 35 years and their kids are in their 20s and their kids are now trying to sponsor their parents so that they can stay and get green cards. They're citizens. The kids are citizens and the parents are not. And they had to go to court in order to get their green cards and go through that process. Now, ICE is now staking out at those courts and saying, you're a criminal. They're not criminals. They crossed the border 35 years ago or got here somehow 35 years ago. And they've had kids. They've paid taxes. They've been here for 35 fucking years. They've paid Social Security. They've done it all. And they've had kids who have also paid taxes and also done everything right. And still, you're like, illegal. Why? Because they're brown. And they don't have much money. Flow State. Thank you, Gorby. Thank you so much. You're incredible. Thank you.
Criminals. But then she locks us out of jail. She can't square that. She says she cares about enforcing against criminal illegal aliens, but ended the 287G program where we were working with sheriffs in the jail. So if an illegal alien is sitting in that county jail, chances are he's not a choir boy, he's a criminal. But she locked us out of 287G programs. I looked at the data this morning, my chief of staff. We got just shy of 6,500 criminal aliens we took off the streets in New York. So the data doesn't match her talking points. In the 287G program, several hundred criminal illegal aliens were handed to us through that 287G program.
It's called an anchor baby. See, you're a fucking Nazi, Tristan. No, it's just called life. Human beings have babies. Actually, every animal on Earth has babies. Every animal on Earth. If a goose has a baby because they came from Canada and they were flying south for the winter, but they didn't make it, and they have a baby in America, is that Gosling? Is that Gosling an anchor baby? Stupid assholes. Like, you guys are just anti-human. You're anti-human being. You're anti-life. You're anti-life. You think that people are like have these machinations. I'm going to go and have a baby. No, actually, the person I was talking about came here because their brother was in trouble. He came here to help his brother. He met a girl, as people do. And then they end up having babies and starting a family. They owned a house, the whole thing. Just normal human shit. Just normal human shit. Why do you guys hate human beings so much? Oh, it's just the brown ones, right? It's just the brown ones.
Now that she ended it.
If they're brown, then it's an anchor baby. That's always how. If it's a brown baby, it's an anchor baby.
Those several hundred aliens in the future will be hitting the streets of New York, reoffending it against the citizens of New York, who she should really be caring about.
So are we talking days or weeks, do you think?
It's coming.
Yeah. So
come on, Tom.
It's coming. It's coming. Wink, 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 wink. Look at this guy, Michael Kangas, 35 years stupidity. And yes, why is that stupid? Why is that stupid? I think it's pretty smart to stay out of trouble for 35 years. Seems like you probably got more ass fucking than he got. Wow, you're a condescending moron. I'm a condescending moron. Maybe it's condescending to a MAGA because you guys are so stupid. You think everyone's condescending to you because you can't understand. I've literally had people like you going, "You talk too fast. You talk too fast." Jesus. Geese don't use your tax dollars. Neither do other people, the people who come to this country. They don't use your tax dollars either. Tax dollars go to people like Elon Musk to fund SpaceX. Tax dollars go to the military. Tax dollars go to fund this crazy government. Tax dollars, no, your tax dollars do not go to people who are immigrants. What the fuck do you like? We live in a country with very little welfare support. We live in a country with almost nothing. Food stamps, very hard to get, and people who come, immigrants can't get them. Like, what do you think immigrants are using your tax dollars for? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Where do you think that they're getting your tax dollars are going to immigrants? Where do you think that's happening? Please. It's a call-in show. Call in and tell me how you think your tax dollars are going to immigrants. You're so fucking stupid. You act like this is a scarce world. It isn't. We're the richest country in the world, supposedly. We got the most billionaires. How come all that money? How come all those billionaires got all that money? Taxes. That's our money. Our government gives them money. Subsidies, contracts, bailouts. That's where most of our fucking money goes. And the military. That's it. That's the money. $1 trillion a year goes to the military. $1 trillion. And most of that money goes to people who already have billions of dollars through government contracts, military contracts. Like they don't try to keep this secret. It's all there. There's no money, no money going to immigrants. Just come, like, why do you need to keep on making up these excuses to hate immigrants? They take your money, they cause crime. And you're like, no, they don't cause crime. That's a lie. And they don't take your money. So why do you hate them? I still hate them. Why? Because they're brown.
What makes you think we're not already here? I mean, we got to remember, ICE is operating in New York City today. We're operating across the state today, but there's going to be a surge, and there needs to be a surge. But I am not going to show our hand because, there are groups, well-funded groups, who will try to impede, interfere. We're not going to give them any upside on this.
Fair enough.
So along those lines, you guys paused traffic stops after there were 3 unfortunate incidents of where people lost their lives in interactions with ICE. Those traffic stops have resumed. Yeah. Explain all of this. Where are we right now with those? Traffic stops have resumed. The director of ICE has put out instructions that whenever possible, that at least one body camera be worn. Look, I'm a big proponent. Yeah, body cams always have been because body.
I live in California, Tristan, you dumb piece of shit. You think illegal immigrants are getting, you think immigrants are the ones who get health care in California? First of all, you have to pay for health care, okay? Even in California. The only thing that they ever get is that any human being who gets conked over the head or hit by a car, they will be able to get patched up so that they don't die. That's it. That ain't healthcare, motherfucker. That's just so that we have the basic level of humanity so we don't have people dying in the streets. Oh, sorry, you got health insurance? No, then we're going to let you bleed out in the street and we're not going to pick up your body. That's the world you want to live in? They take your health care. You're so fucking stupid. You're so fucking stupid. It's painful that you believe stupid shit like that. It's painful that you actually believe that with the 50 million people living in California, that they need to, that the immigrants are the ones leeching the system. No, man, I live in the richest fucking state in the union. It's the 4th richest country in the world, man. Immigrants help build this country, help build this state. And they take nothing. They don't even get, they pay into Social Security. They don't even get anything out. They pay sales tax and they pay for all, they pay rent. They pay all the shit that you pay for. Billionaires are literally telling you every day that they're taking government subsidies, like in SpaceX. They took billions of dollars and turned it into $1 trillion and then robbed people. And now it's back to a few. Now it's not $1 trillion anymore, but whatever. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a little shell game they like to play. They show you that they take your money. They're the ones that tell you to your face that they're going to eliminate jobs. They tell you that they are giving money to politicians so that they can practice their free speech to undermine any will of the people. Billionaires are very open about this. All of them tell you AI is coming for your jobs. We own the politicians, and we want more money from the government when we fail, and we want loans from the government so we can invest in our businesses. That's all taxed money. That's your tax money. If there's a billionaire, they have billions of dollars because of our taxes, except for very few, like the Disney Corporation and shit. They get billions of dollars from us. And you turn around and you're like, you know who the problem is? Fucking Mexicans. Those poor Mexicans. Those poor people, they're the problem. The poor people are the problem. If you're blaming poor people, you're the problem. And you're brain dead. Poor people are not the problem. Poor people have never been the problem. Ever. Every poor person wants to sit there, wants to fucking work. The billionaire class wants to chill and eat your babies. The billionaire wants to buy and sell your children as cannon fodder or sex toys. And you're like, I love them. It's the Mexicans that's the problem. Those brown people. Those poor, especially if they're poor brown people.
Cams, if you look at data, about 90% of the time, they actually support an ICE agent's activities, whatever response he has, right? They exonerate more law enforcement than they convict. And I want officers to wear body cameras because I want the American people to see what the officer.
Liar. Yeah. Why aren't you? Then why aren't they?
When they took that action. You can have someone with a cell phone camera across the street. You can have city cameras that they can show you different things, but nothing's going to match what the officer saw just before he took that action.
Then why don't you have them on there, asshole? Then make it happen and make it readily available. How come that we never get to see these officers' body cam footage? How come every time they kill someone, there's never any body cam? But every time they do something where it's like lickety split real quick, like those people that went up on the Empire State Building and proposed and the cops tore them down and like put them in handcuffs, we got that body cam footage in 5 minutes for some reason. 5 minutes. It only took them 5 minutes to get us that body cam. And yet when they murder somebody, it takes them months to get the body cam footage. Why? Could there be something going on? Did they scrub it? Well, how come they delete the audio every time they shoot somebody? Why do they do that? How come Tom Homan's saying that he wants to have everyone to have body cam footage, but he just can't manage it? There's only 22,000 ICE officers. Only about 10,000 of them are actually in the streets killing people. So, like, you're telling me that all 10,000 people can't share? You can't get 5,000 cameras to these assholes? You got almost $1 trillion. Why can't you do it? You can't afford cameras? Maybe you shouldn't be able to have a gun without a camera. Maybe put the camera on the guns. That'd be great. Put the camera on the gun so we could see exactly everything. We could be like playing Call of Duty with these ICE agents. So if you get a gun, you have to have a camera. Maybe that's what we need to do.
So look,
fuck this guy.
We begin tonight with
Fucking
breaking
Nazis.
news today.
And you guys, like anybody who supports Tom Homan or Donald Trump at this point is a Nazi. You're MAGA. MAGA is the Nazi Party of America. That's all there is.
The U.S. military announced yet another service member had been killed in action, this time in northern Iraq. This is prompting concerns that Iran and the U.S. are edging closer to a wider war. Less than 24 hours ago, we learned at least 2 U.S. service members were killed during an attack by Iran on a military base in Jordan. This video circulating online appears to show the moment the missiles hit the base. The U.S. responded swiftly with yet another wave of airstrikes on Iran and promising more to come. The State Department is now warning Americans overseas to remain vigilant and exercise increased caution. We have team coverage tonight. ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz leads us off from Jordan.
Tonight, the American death toll in the war with Iran is growing. CENTCOM announcing just hours ago, human remains were found at the site where 2 service members were killed in that Iranian attack on a U.S. base here in Jordan. The remains could be those of the missing 3rd service member. CENTCOM also announcing that an additional service member was killed in Iraq during the controlled detonation of a downed Iranian one-way attack drone. If the remains are that of the missing service member, that brings the American death toll since the war began to 18. The U.S. now launching nightly strikes on Iranian targets this weekend, focusing on the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, believed to be responsible for targeting the American troops. But Iran retaliating each time, continuing to strike U.S. bases in Kuwait, Jordan, and Bahrain. Air raid sirens could be heard today in Jordan, less than 48 hours after the Iranian attack on the base here. Video circulating online appearing to show projectiles and some interceptions over that base.
Dude, why are you guys obsessed with bathrooms? It's like I'm sitting here showing. We're watching a video about people dying, and you're like, bathrooms. You guys want to use bathrooms? What is it with you guys? You never been to a concert? Everyone uses the same bathroom. Everyone's been using the same bathroom for hundreds of years, thousands of years. What is it with you guys? Why are you obsessed with bathrooms? At your house, do you have boys and girls bathrooms? Do you have different bathrooms for boys and girls at your house? What is that? How's that work? Is MAGA at MAGA? Do they in MAGA houses, do they have a boys and a girls room? Because at my house, everyone uses the same bathroom regardless. They don't have to pick. Everyone uses the same bathroom at my house. I mean, I have 3 bathrooms. I guess one of the bathrooms only I use, like it's in my bedroom. But then there's 2 other bathrooms, and everyone uses those. Like I have a guest bathroom for the guest room, and then I have on the first floor, there's another bathroom for anybody who's just coming into the house, and there's no bath or shower. It's a half bath. And everyone can use all of them. I guess they can use the one in my room too, in the primary suite. They can use that one too. I don't know. I don't know why everyone's stressing out about that. Everyone's allowed to use whatever bathroom they want. I don't know. Oh, they only have outhouses. Do they have boys and girls outhouses, Robert? Is that what they have? They're all like, dang, dang, new. I mean, like these guys, I don't know, man. Like those slack-jawed Southerners, ever since the Northerners taught the Southerners to wear shoes to the outhouse, that was the worst thing we ever did. We shouldn't have taught them that. We shouldn't have taught them all our tricks. We shouldn't. The civilized Americans should have never told the Southerners all the tricks about like wearing shoes and using soap. We should have let them be the way they are. A lot of them still are that way, I guess. MAGA house, the ladybug, the house gets the master. The gentleman can use any other bathroom available. Is that how that works? The lady of the house gets the master, and the gentleman can use the other bathrooms. I didn't know that. I didn't know. Maybe they should use your dirty mouth as a bathroom. No, uncle. That's no, baby doll. Dirty mouth, uncle. Come on, guy. Come on, guy. Dirty mouth. I don't know if you ever heard it, but Donald Trump has a dirty mouth, and I have used his mouth as a bathroom. My name is Bubba. I'm in the Epstein files. Look me up.
But clearly not all were stopped. Those deadly missiles and drones raising questions about Iran's precision capabilities, even after the administration said Iran's military had been decimated. And there are questions about the U.S. military's ability to defend its personnel here.
Does my brother walk into the bathroom while my daughter is busy bathing? I don't know. What would I do if they did? Oh my God. If they did, if my brother was in the bathroom and my sister walked in, what would happen? Would the world fall apart? What would happen? Let me know in the chat. What would happen if you're in the bathroom and what if my sister was in the bathroom and she forgot to lock the door? And then my brother walked in. What would happen? What would happen? Oh my God. You guys, MAGA, I didn't even realize that you guys were this much into brother-sister stuff. I didn't know idea that you were so afraid of your siblings. I didn't know. Oh my God. I didn't know that you guys were so afraid of your siblings. Shit, this is a brand new revelation. I had no clue that MAGA, we make jokes about like people in West Virginia, but I didn't think that was like a MAGA thing, that you guys are just sister fuckers and you're so afraid of like your brother fucking your sister. I mean, shit, bro, take it easy. I think that they would just, maybe just an embarrassing moment, just be like, oops. I think that's how it would be. I think growing up, I probably like walked in on relatives in the bathrooms when we were all living in the same house. I probably did. And I don't even remember it, but I'm guessing it went something like this. Oh, sorry. I think that's probably what happened. I'm guessing something along those lines. Oops, sorry. And you know what? Even if I walked into my grandma, it wouldn't be that big of a problem. Be like, oops. It's not like you're doing crazy stuff in the bathroom. You're either sitting or standing near a toilet or washing your hands. What the fuck are you guys doing in the bathrooms? I just use the toilet and then wash my hands. I know you guys don't wash your hands, but like I just use the toilet and then I wash my hands. I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing in the bathroom, MAGA. You guys must be doing some crazy shit in there. Man, I don't know what the hell's happening. I don't know what's happening with you MAGers. Holy shit.
One of the concerns, I think, on this strike is, are the Iranians getting information, targeting information, intelligence from another country?
This afternoon, President Trump attending the World Cup final. He had warned of a massive response if U.S. personnel were killed, but tonight spoke only of those who were killed in these latest attacks, telling reporters on Saturday that the deaths in Jordan were a very sad thing and a shame. But more American warplanes are headed to the region. Sources telling the New York Times.
Thank whoever, Grave. Thank you so much.
F-16s from Germany and stealth F-35 fighters from Britain are being sent, along with aerial refueling capability.
Looks like we're going to war, guys. Donald Trump, remember when he promised no wars? Remember he was like, I'm never going to go to war.
I'm never going to do it. You know, Donald Trump's not going to start World War III. Kamala Harris, she's going to start World War III. It'll be the worst. It'll be really bad. Those black ones always starting wars. Every time we get a black president, they start a bunch of wars. That's always what they do. Always what they do.
Of course, Barack Obama ended the war in Iraq, quote unquote. He didn't end Afghanistan, though. Dang it. Donald Trump signed the paperwork to end the worst fucking way ever. Signed the paperwork to end the war in Afghanistan, but he didn't actually do it, you know? Fucking Biden had to do that shit.
The now nearly 5 months long conflict bringing traffic through the critical Strait of Hormuz to a standstill. Kepler saying only 8 vessels navigated the strait on Friday, although Energy Secretary Chris Wright disputing that.
Your kids spend a lot of time in bathrooms and locker rooms. What are you guys doing with your kids? What are you doing with your children in bathrooms and locker rooms? I don't know what are you guys doing? When I was a kid and I went to like the PE locker room, we were all kind of embarrassed of our bodies at that age. We're all kind of like putting our shit on real fast, you know, like, okay, I'm good. I don't know what the hell were you guys, what are you guys doing in your bathrooms and locker room? I don't know what MAGA is doing in bathrooms and locker rooms. You guys are crazy. Like, do you remember when Donald Trump said I just grabbed him by the pussy? I moved on her like a bitch. He said this crazy shit. And you guys, let's locker room talk. What? I don't know. I've spent a lot of time in locker rooms, and I have never heard people talking like that. I've heard people say some sick shit in my life. I have. Usually not in the locker room.
It's locker room talk. That's how they talk. That's how we talk. We talk about moving like bitches.
What?
I moved on her like a bitch.
Gold coin. Thank you for the gold coin. I love Melania coin, too. Thank you so much.
Almost all the public data I've seen is incorrect. There's flow through 2 routes through the Strait of Hormuz.
The price of oil now rising, along with the pain at the pump, with a gallon of gas approaching $4. And Lindsay, tonight here in Jordan and in other Gulf countries, they are...
The average price is at $4. Is that true? Holy shit. Hold on. Let me look it up. What's the average price of gasoline in America right now? It's $4. AAA puts it at $4. Yes, last week it was at $3.87. A year ago, $3.14. Remember what Donald Trump said it was going to be?
50% reduction in the price of gas after the first year. 12 months of Donald Trump, 4 months of Trump. We're going to get 50% off of gas.
Of course, now it's up 50%. That's fucking crazy. It's up 50%. It's up 50% from when he took office. In California, I went to go fill up my I don't fill up my tank very often, right? I filled up my tank and it was at $5.50 in California because it's more expensive here, you know. And I go to the guy at the gas. He's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "Fuck, man, $5.50." I said, "Shit, it's fucking expensive." And he's like, "$5.50? That's pretty good." We're at $5.50. $5.50 is great. What are you talking about? That's the mindset now. $5.50. What a fucking deal. $4. You're basically getting it for free.
Bracing for more attacks and the possibility this war could spread even wider. Lindsay?
Nothing anyone wants there. Martha Raddatz reporting for us. Ian Jordan, thank you.
Hey there, friends. Last time we tallied up some costs from
$5. It's $4 right now. It's gone up since Donald Trump took office. And MAGAs are like, I love him. He's doing everything right. Gas is up. Coffee's up. Groceries are up. Everything's up. Electricity's up. Everything costs more money. I'm not making more money. Are you? Are you? Holy shit. Enjoy your politics. What are you talking about? You get used to the high taxes, but the thing about California, right? We pay extra taxes. That's true. But we got no potholes in our streets. Our streets are fucking clean. I tell you what, I've driven in almost every state in America, and I'll put it this way. Although I bitch about taxes like everybody else, I'm not impervious. We all complain about taxes, right? That's the American thing. We all complain about taxes. Actually, everywhere I've ever lived, they bitch about taxes. But I tell you what, you drive across America, then you drive into California like, oh, shit, I'm driving like a civilian now. I feel like I'm not on the road to Fallujah. You know, like when you drive through America, you think, man, we're not that different from Iraq. It was like you get an off-road vehicle. No wonder they sell so many Ford F-150s. You can't drive anything else in America. Holy shit. Ford F-150s are the highest selling car in the world. In America. And there's a reason. It's because it feels like you're going off-roading everywhere you go. You don't have you can't drive a normal car in most of America. No wonder we're all driving Humvees and shit. Damn, it's because you're next to nah, it's not just that, man. The worst place was Mississippi. Mississippi, I blew out my tire driving in a street because there were so many potholes. It's like, man, I was live streaming and I have a video of me on the road in Mississippi, and the truck is like, it's like I'm in a rodeo driving through Jackson, Mississippi. It's like the capital of Mississippi. Holy shit. Anyway, taxes. Like, they do suck, but we got the most beautiful parks. We got a lot of state parks. We got all these beautiful beaches. The beaches are clean in California, you know. It's not like in the South where like all the beaches are all dirty and shitty. Some beaches in Florida are nice. Anyway. 6-7, baby. Let's get to 6-7.
Administration that Trump has been costing you, the Americans, so far.
Donald Trump is costing me so much fucking money. I'm going broke. How much money you got left? I'm losing my shirt over here. I'm losing my shirt.
And a lot of comments were left. We're talking about thousands of comments on my last video when we were talking about the cost of tariffs, the war in Iran, and Democratic
controlled areas do suck. They do? Hey, Everybody, if you're an idiot that thinks that Republicans and Democrats are real different, you done lost. You lost the argument the second you're like, Democrats are the problem. Like I was just talking about taxes, and you guys are like, Democrats. Republicans spend way more of your money on stupid shit than Democrats, but whatever. It doesn't matter. They're both the same party. It doesn't matter. Oil and gas are down. Are they? Still higher than they were before the war. MAGA wants us to give Trump credit, even though he hasn't fixed the problems he caused. They're not down. They're still at $4. They're down from where they went. I mean, I guess they're down from where they were, $6.50. They were $6.50 when the Strait of Hormuz was first closing. So they're down from there. They're still way up from last year. They're way up from last year. They're up $1 from last year, and they're up $1 from that year. So it's up 50% from when Donald Trump took power. 50%.
And of course, tourism. Now, a lot of those comments said, hey, Harry, there have to be more costs associated with the Trump administration so far. And you know what? After going through your thousands of comments, looking at thousands of data points, I have to say, you're right. And I decided to
Thank you, Stephenson.
break it down into 3 other categories. DC projects for Trump so far, ICE in the border, and energy leases. And we'll start off with the DC projects, and we'll start off with something that has been in the news a lot. We're talking about the DC reflection pool. Take a look here. Reflection pool renovations. We're talking about $14.7 million.
Damn, $14.7 million, and he fucked it up.
$1 billion. I'm not quite sure they really got their money's worth on that one. But of course, it's not just the reflecting pool in which there has been DC renovations. What else?
It's like that's a drop in the bucket, $14.7 million. But at least, like, if you could take $15 million and you're gonna fucking do a swimming pool, do it right. Like, what the hell? This guy no bid contracts, giving money to his friends. It's just so embarrassing. That's the thing. It's like I don't think Americans going to begrudge you the $15 million, right? We're going to begrudge you for fucking it up, for taking our money and not being a good steward of our cash. That's our money, and you gave it to your friend rather than fixing the shit that we want to fix.
We're talking about here.
Nobody even wanted it fixed. But if you're going to take the $15 million, I don't think anybody cares about the $15 million. Take the $15 million, do it right. But no, you did a no bid contract and gave money to your friends like a fucking corrupt politician that you are.
Well, it all started off with the 2025 military parade.
Like, why is Donald Trump even involved in the reflection pool? He should have nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. That's what the Park Service is for. The fuck are you getting involved in a swimming pool?
You thought that $14.7 million was a lot? How about this one? This was $45 million. Million with an M. Now, of course, you'd say, hey, you know what, $45 million if the American people wanted it. But did they think it was a good use of government funds? No, they didn't. We're talking about 60% of Americans who said that, in fact, it was not a good use of government funds on the military parade. Just 38% of
Dave's not here. Remember when he did $45 million for his birthday parade? He's calling it a military parade to be nice, but it was his birthday parade. Dave's not here.
Americans said that it was. Now, that's not the only poll that we know that what Trump is doing in Washington, D.C. ain't exactly the most popular when it comes to D.C. renovations, because, of course, there is that East Wing renovation. We're talking about that East Wing renovation. And here was a great poll from Quinnipiac. Tear down the East Wing and build a ballroom. Again, 60% of Americans oppose that idea. 60% of Americans, that support is way down there. And the Potomac.
Lindsey Graham loved it.
They need a place to let down their hair and have a good time. These boys need a good place to have a nice big orgy. That's what they need.
River, my goodness. Now, how much money? How much money? How much of this green?
Man, I can't believe Lindsey Graham's dead. Can you believe he's dead? God, man, Lindsey Graham's dead, everybody. What are we going to do without Lindsey Graham?
Stuff. How much of this green stuff did, in fact, that the ballroom actually cost? Well, when we're talking about, the government, we're talking about ballroom security. Ballroom project security. Now, I'm trying to count here. I don't think I quite have $307 million. That's from the Washington Post. Ballroom project security costing $307 million with an M.
I thought it wasn't going to cost us anything. It cost ballroom project security cost $307 million just for the security on this thing. I thought that Jeff Beznuts was going to Beazelnuts. I thought these Beazelnuts and Zuckertits were going to pay for it all.
Of course, this isn't the only project for Trump that necessarily hasn't gone the way that he would necessarily hope it would be. How about the Kennedy Center redesign? They put the name Trump Kennedy Center. Now the Trump name is off. Another $257 million. And when you tally it all up, when you take all that dough, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and you put it all together, the total redesign, the cost of the DC renovations and parade, at least $624 million. That's
just a little over $500 million, guys, for your pals over in Washington, D.C. Everything's fine, right? You guys are going to Washington, D.C. later on this year, aren't you? You guys have all been there, right? You guys are all going to go? You guys have all been. Have you ever been to Washington, D.C.? Let me ask that's a great poll question. I'm going to ask that as a poll question. Hold on a second. Have you ever been to Washington? Actually, how about have you been to Washington, D.C. in the last, let's call it 10 years? Have you been in the last 10 years? Yes or no? I'd love to know. That's a great question. I can't wait to find out. If you've been to Washington, D.C. in the last 10 years, I'd love to know. Please tell me, because I think that these renovations are for all of us, especially the ballroom. That's for you and me. We're going to go party at the ballroom, you and me, not just the billionaires, not just the politicians, not just the despots and dictators. No, not just the authoritarians, not just the prince, the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, not just the king of Qatar. No, it's going to be us. We're going to, not just Vladimir Putin, we're all going to party at the ballroom because it's for all of us. That's why we're paying so much money for it.
The amount of green that the American people are out, perhaps some of that green, in fact, went into the reflecting pool. But you see this million? You see this million? That's actually, it seems like a lot, but it's really, it's just a few dollars. It's just a few dollars in the grand scheme of things.
It's just a few dollars waving around the money. I hope you enjoy the DSA. Your party is about to be cannibalized. My party, I don't have a party, but hey, you are right that the party of the Democrats, I think is what you mean, will be cannibalized, just like how MAGA was the cancer that ate the Republican Party. There's no Republicans anymore. There's no such thing as a Republican anymore. It's just MAGA or dead. You're either MAGA and you suck Donald Trump's asshole, or you're dead. You're not allowed to be a Republican anymore. You're only allowed to be a MAGA, which is a Trumpster fire. And if you aren't, you're out with the yesterday's news. You're out with old trash. Now, traditionally, this is how it happens. Historically, this is what goes down. You have a Nazi party rise to power, something, or just some power that's fascistic or very into consolidated power, very into authoritarianism, very into kings and queens. Like one of those. Throughout history, we have this tension in humanity. Every 100 years, we got to do it. And so they rise up and they get a lot of power. And then somebody like the Democratic Socialists have to come out in opposition. Now, because of America's two-party system, we're all fucked up here. We can't just have some other candidate come from someplace else. So Democratic Socialists believe, and they're always wrong, by the way, they're always wrong. They believe that they can tear down the master's house with the master's tools. They think, like Bernie Sanders, that they can somehow get in there and somehow get a little more socialism for the people or something. They can get into the political system and try to take it over from the inside. They never do. What generally happens, like what happened when Adolf Hitler was faced with the Social Democrats, Adolf Hitler said, I want to be dictator. And everybody bent over, the liberals and the MAGAs and everybody bent over and said, yes, let's have Hitler as a dictator. And the only people who stood up against him were the Social Democrats. And the Social Democrats, 92 of them, voted against making Adolf Hitler a dictator. And what did he do? When he won, he killed a lot of them and he made the party illegal. He just made the Democrats illegal, the Social Democrats. He killed them and he made the party illegal. Eventually, he made all the parties illegal except for the one, the Nazi party. That's what MAGA wants to do. They want to make all the other political parties illegal because they don't like anyone questioning them. They don't like anybody questioning Trump. They don't like anyone criticizing Trump or telling jokes about Donald Trump. They don't like any of that. Neither did Adolf Hitler. He made all of the parties and all of the media that was anywhere criticizing him against the law. Any judge that was critical of him against the law fired those guys. That's what Hitler did. That was what he did. Now, Social Democrats, what's going to happen this time around? My guess is that they're going to make a good run. They're going to try to take down Donald Trump from the inside and somehow, to have a good run and try to challenge the king. But the king will kill them. They'll be killed. They're going to be killed by MAGA. MAGA will kill people like John Mamdani. MAGA will make their party illegal. Make it illegal for them to run for office. That's what they're going to do. That's what they always do. They change the names over the last 1,000 years, but every 100 years we do this. We have this great big tension between those who think power and resources and hierarchy are inherited, and those who think that we're all members of the public and we should all benefit and that everything belongs to all of us. It's just the age-old problem. Age-old. We got to have these bloodbaths every 100 years or so.
to the federal government and Trump's projects. Because you think that $624 million is a lot? What about for the border wall? What about for the border wall? Now, I think a lot of Trump supporters would like this, but perhaps a lot of Americans wouldn't. Newly pledged border wall funding through 2029. This time, it is billion with a B, not million.
You see, people say like MAGA for life. That's like Nazi shit, man. Like that is Nazi shit. I've never heard anybody being like Democrat for life. I never hear that shit. You know what I mean? I never hear people being like, I love my politician so much, I'm gonna die for him. I'll defend that politician no matter what. Even the people who are like the Bernie lovers, you know, even those guys. If it came out that Bernie said some shit, they criticize him. You can't criticize Donald Trump. Like Bernie Sanders supported Graham Plattner, and people who support Bernie are like, fuck you, Bernie, what the fuck? You can't do that with Donald Trump. Donald Trump supports pedophiles, and you have to just accept it. Donald Trump supports sex offenders and rapists, and you just have to accept it. If Bernie Sanders supports a rapist like he did with Graham Plattner, you can criticize him because that's the name of the game. That's what it's supposed to be about. But this age-old tension is just, I wish that people would see like this. The system has always been broken against you. Part of the design is keeping the people in power. Unfortunately, one of the features of capitalism, when you pay people as little as possible but charge as much as possible, the divide between rich and poor will inherently grow, which is why you have to have guardrails to always try to fight it. But those guardrails are always being torn down by the people at the top because they have more resources to do so. They could buy politicians, they could pay off people, they can do all sorts of shit, right? They run the game. They're taking the money from these people. And so it keeps going. And every time there's a guardrail, you can see little stutters, but capitalism, part of its design, one of the great flaws of it, it will always raise up the rich and bring down the poor, and the difference between them will always become greater and greater. You could call it capitalism today, but that's the same thing that happened with feudalism. It's the same thing that happened with the kings and queens of France, and why they had to cut off their heads, and why we had to have a horrible bloodbath that was filled with horrors and troubles, and disgusting things happened on both sides. And it was a very disgusting thing that happened. Civil war. It's nasty. It's nasty. We're going to have it here if we don't do something. And if something crazy doesn't happen, it's going to happen right here. Whose side will you be on? Social Democrats or National Socialists? Because that's where we're going. MAGA is National Socialists. And the Democratic Socialists, they're called Social Democrats. Well, they used to be called Social Democrats. Now they're called Democratic Socialists. They changed the names, but they're the same thing.
Democratic Socialists are gaining traction in primaries
Speaking of Democratic Socialists,
across the country with backing from progressives like Bernie Sanders and AOC.
don't forget to like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. I'm supposed to say that as many times as possible so people like and subscribe, like and subscribe.
In Colorado's Democratic primary in June, DSA member Malat Quiros beat out a 30-year incumbent. Colorado Democratic Governor Jared Polis has been outspoken on the dangers that socialism presents to his state, and he joins me now for more. Governor, thank you very much for joining us on the Sunday briefing, sir.
Always a pleasure.
So,
do you know most of Epstein's political donations went to Democrats? So did Donald Trump's. So what are you trying to say? Donald Trump is just like Jeffrey Epstein? You're right. They give money to people in power. Democrats used to have more power, so they gave money to people in power. And then when the Republicans had power, they switched to Republicans. That's what they always do because they don't fucking care. Only idiots like you think that there's a difference between Republicans and Democrats. They don't give a shit. Whoever has power, that's where they go. And because the whims of these dictators at the very top and the oligarchs, they're the ones really in control. And the hoi polloi, the electorate, has very little power. And they pick Democrat or Republican, red or blue. To the oligarchs, it doesn't fucking matter. They give money to both sides, and they give a little bit more money to the party in power. Most of Epstein's political donations went to Democrats when the Democrats were in power. Absolutely. 100%. Of course. Same thing with Donald Trump. Most of his political donations went to Democrats. So what do you mean, Democrats? Yeah, Donald Trump's not Republican, morons. He never was Republican. He isn't Republican today. There's nothing Republican about Donald Trump. He does not believe in anything that the Republicans believe in. Family values? No. Fiscal conservatism? No. No. Like, what are you, like, Donald Trump doesn't say nothing about conservative values. Nothing. Zero. Nothing Republican about Donald Trump.
As we've been discussing, in your state, the DSA had a massive victory, unseated Diana DeGette in a Democratic primary. They've also come after you as one of the state's richest men, saying that you're afraid of them, so you're fearmonger.
Daniel Price, Daniel Price, yeah. Obama. The thing is, again, since most people who are watching probably can't remember further back than Carter, if you look at Carter and you look at every president since, it's just gotten worse. And now we're at Donald Trump and it's really fucking bad. But even from Trump 2 to Trump 1, like number 2 is worse than number 1. And so it just keeps getting worse. Whoever's after Donald Trump will be worse. It's just going to get worse because the system can't fix itself. We have a horrible system. The system is broken. It's against the people. Until there is a tremendous amount of reform, and that cannot come from social democrats, by the way. Social democrats, they're going to want reform and all these things. They think that they can solve this through capitalism and shit. It won't happen because as soon as they start cutting into profits, they'll be murdered. As soon as they start cutting into the power of the powerful, they'll be murdered. The more success the social democrats have, the more likely they will be murdered by the Rothschilds and the Trumps of the world, people like the Bezos and the Musks. They'll just be murdered. By proxies, of course.
And you replied in a tweet that got some attention this week. You said, "I'm not scared of anyone. I just care deeply about our state, and I don't want the socialists to destroy it. Thanks to socialism, the average Zimbabwean became a trillionaire." And John Fetterman said this week that these DSA members should just run under a separate banner. Are you worried that the DSA is going to hijack
You can't run under a separate banner in America. That's not possible.
the Democratic Party?
Literally.
Well, look, when I ran in Democratic primaries,
literally the ability to create another party right now in America is impossible. Elon Musk tried to start another party. Do you remember that? It was kind of funny because the organization that helps, like the government agency that helps parties become parties, they can't become parties because there aren't enough people working there anymore because they got Doge cut. Like it's literally impossible right now to become a new political party. So since all other parties are de facto illegal, they're not technically illegal, but they're basically illegal. You have to fight them from within. MAGA figured, well, the Tea Party figured that out. The Tea Party realized that they have to convince the Republicans and eat them from the inside. And they did, and they metastasized to MAGA. MAGA now is the Nazi Party of America. National Socialists of America is MAGA. You have the NSA and the DSA, the Democratic Socialists, and the National Socialists. Same old story. Same old story. Two flavors of socialism duking it out while the people are left in the cold. What do you think?
I was proud of my business success. I talked about how it created jobs, met payroll. That's seen as a plus by Democrats, somebody who's had experience in the real world. I'm concerned by some of the socialism I see. Some of the socialism with voices in President Trump's here, where they're literally buying government shares of Intel, the military, the Defense Department. Actually,
good point. There he goes. National Socialist Donald Trump has bought shares of Intel in your name, making it so that we are in cahoots with corporations. Corporatism. It's what Mussolini said should have been the name of fascism. Mussolini said that we should not call it fascism, we should call it corporatism, because it's the collusion of state and corporate powers so that their goals become indiscernible from one another, and the people are only benefited if they support the state or the corporate oligarchs. They get to pick who supports them rather than the people deciding who rules them. National Socialism, pretty rad, right? Fascism.
War Department actually owns 15% of a company called MP Materials, rare earth materials. So government ownership of companies, whether it's coming from Democrats or Republicans, is wrong. And let's get into why.
Sweet havoc. Donald Trump's a fucking socialist. Are you not fucking listening?
It's wrong. It's wrong for two reasons. One is it concentrates economic and political power in the same entity, and that turns it against the people. Second reason is it leads to less prosperity and success for our country. Every country that's tried it has failed.
Is there a place, though, for the
provide a better system? John Blackwell, you're missing the whole point. You're missing the whole point, Johnny, you're missing the whole point, baby doll. You can't provide a better system. People have to build it for themselves. You don't get to provide it anything. You got to build it yourself. You got to do some hard work, honey. You got to roll up your sleeves and do it. But first, you got to tear down the centralized government so that you can't really have these bosses. You got to slow down the bosses, be high friction. But I don't know. I don't see the utopia coming anytime soon. I think it's going to be really, really bad, dude. It's going to get really bad. Where are you going to be on it? You're going to be on the side of the government, the state putting concentration camps. You're going to be on the side of concentration camps? I don't know. You're going to be on the freedom-loving side.
DSA under the Democratic Party's umbrella is really what I'm getting at, because their plan they just put out, it calls to destroy America's current political system. They want to abolish the Senate, the president, the Supreme Court. Here's what one of them said on our air earlier this week.
The Constitution, I think, has actually been quite an unstable mechanism for rule. We're a country that fought a civil war in part because of the flaws in our political system. I would say that I'm against the Senate. I think the Senate's an undemocratic body.
I mean, the Senate's equal representation provision for states is protected by the Constitution. It's actually the only provision within the Constitution that is protected from amendment. At what point do you say that these are anti-American positions that these candidates are embracing and, reject them from your party?
Well, again, it sounds similar to the Tea Party talking point of just a few years ago, perhaps they still support it, where the Senate should not be elected. They wanted a constitutional amendment, some on the right.
The Tea Party is how this whole thing started. I don't know if you guys remember the Tea Party. They were just like kind of like oddly racist, tax enough already, all that stuff. They were really anti-government. They're kind of an interesting group. A lot of libertarians got swept up in there, and they just became MAGA. And someone from that movement named Steve Bannon, he was always looking for that politician that only comes around once a century. Remember that? Remember when he said that? Who do you think Steve Bannon's talking about from last century? Who do you think Steve Bannon, the architect of Donald Trump's rise to power, who do you think he was comparing Donald Trump to when he said this type of leader only comes around once a century? Who do you think he was talking about?
That would essentially make it appointed rather than elected body. It sounds like this proposal is not to have it. It was a little, unclear from the context that you showed me. Personally, while I don't think anybody thinks the Senate works wonderfully, I think the founding fathers had great wisdom in setting up a bicameral system. One system, originally the Senate was appointed. I think it's a great reform that it is elected. It should be elected, and of course the House elected every 2 years. So these are constitutional reforms. I know there's those that disagree in both parties, but I think there's broad spread support for the United States Constitution. And this,
of course, the Constitution has been changed already. That's all bullshit. What he just said. The Senate used to be elected by your state legislators, not by the people. Already, we've changed the nature of the Senate. Still, the Senate, though, basically is a billionaires club. It's the elite class filtering the will of the people. That's what a republic is. A republic is we're too afraid of the people to make decisions for themselves, so we need to still rule them, but filter the will of the people through the oligarchy. That's what a republic is. You still have some control, so there's democracy-ish, but not when you have the executive branch clawing more and more power all the time and the Senate being such a fuckfest. So instead of having it just be elected by the legislators, your state legislators, you now get to vote for Senate. You get to vote for your senators. The senators, the reason why there's only 2 of them and all that it's a vestige of slave times, and why they only have 2 each is really stupid. But abolishing the Senate is kind of a good idea. They do the same thing in England. They basically limited the power of the House of Lords because the House of Lords is bullshit. And so the House of Commons is the seat of power, right? The Prime Minister is just one minister in the prime area. He's the Prime Minister of the main party represented in the House of Commons, which is basically our bicameral legislature, right? We have the House of Congress, the House of Representatives, and the House of the Senate. And the Senate is antiquated and fucked. And so a lot of people are saying we got to get rid of it. But this guy's saying like, oh, the Constitution was perfect the way it was written. It's not true. The Senate has already been significantly changed. It's just not proportional, which is a bad idea. It should be proportional. And if we make it proportional, then it would probably solve a lot of problems. But rather than make it proportional, we just get rid of it. We don't need this back and forth bullshit all the time. It'll pass the House, but not the Senate, filibusters and all that bullshit.
Separation of powers that frankly work now to the benefit of.
And the separation of powers are not working because every president since Truman has been clawing more power for the president so that he has too much power, and Congress is now just serving the president. That's what they're doing. They're serving the president.
Democrats, people like me who care about separation of powers, who don't want President Trump's socialism to buy more companies, take over the economy, it allows us to take a stand for capitalism.
Okay. So what I'm not hearing here from you, though, is a wish for the Democratic Socialists to sort of run under a separate banner, like Fetterman was suggesting. And I got one more question on this topic because I do want to talk about AI data centers with you. But Bernie Sanders has endorsed like 90 candidates. There was an analysis by CNN today that of the 60 who have already run for their elections, 42 of them won, including 10 out of 16 federal elections. Are you worried that all of this division with
It's not that I want them to be easier to pass more laws. That's not the point. I want it to be easier for them to represent the people in the face of a growing executive branch. Unfortunately, our branch, the Congress, that's us. Those people are the only ones representing us in government is the Congress. They are supposed to represent the people. They're the only ones afraid of us anymore. The president is not afraid of us. The president has all the cards. I got the cards. It's not that you want to make it easier for them to pass laws. You want to make it easier for them to control the purse strings, and also it's not just the laws, man. Yes, they're legislators, but they also could control a bunch of governing bodies. A bunch of bodies are connected to the legislature. But whatever, man. The point is, it's supposed to be a country of, for, and by the people. It isn't right now. This country's sick. It's not just because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is just the last step into the swamp. Of course, we've got shit up to our eyeballs right now because we've been marching into the swamp. Of course, we've got a swamp creature like Donald Trump. It's not Donald Trump's fault. Silver Star, baby doll, I love you. Thank you.
Is diverting spending.
Thank you, Harman Sarwar.
In primaries that would otherwise be used in general elections.
Well, I think it's important that we elect enough Democrats to the next Congress. I'm hopeful we'll take a majority of 230, whatever it is, that we don't have to rely on the votes of those 4 or 5 or 6 DSA people that might serve in that Congress. I know that many of them have threatened not to elect Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker, and I think to
Hakeem Jeffries has no business being Speaker.
make sure that we need to elect a big enough Democratic majority that we can make sure that we don't need to count on their votes for anything.
Okay. DSA has increasingly started to organize around or against rather data centers. Colorado's positioned itself as a sort of leader in AI. Communities, though, are sort of pushing back in some areas over concern about quality of life, water issues, and electricity demand. The president obviously didn't take kindly to New York's governor this week putting a moratorium on data centers in her state. He wrote, "New York has made a terrible decision. All this income and other benefits will be going to red states and some blue, where data centers are sought as cash cows with lower taxes and record-setting jobs." Is this divide within the party on the issue of data centers going to be a challenge moving forward? Do Democrats basically need to pick a side on this issue?
Yeah, like Palestine. Democrats better start picking fucking sides if they want to stay relevant. I mean, Republicans have picked a side. MAGA. Donald Trump's God. That's the side. Whatever Donald Trump says, we're into it. What if he says tomorrow he hates Benjamin Netanyahu? We all hate him then. What if he says tomorrow we love Qatar? We all love Qatar. But wait, Qatar is one of the greatest state sponsors of international terrorism. We love it. Donald Trump says he loves them. What? Qatar? Qatar's our friends now? Qatar? Well, they gave Donald Trump a $400 million jet, so we're friends now. But we're at war with Iran for the same reasons that we hated Qatar. So if Iran gave Donald Trump a $400 million jet, that's all they needed to do. They should have thought it through.
Well, I think, you need to apply analysis to a data center. In Colorado, again, as long as you can show us that they'll reduce our electricity rates and we can meet the water needs, of course we want them. But we are a water scarce state. If they're water intensive versions of them, they have to think carefully about whether it makes sense to be here. But we're trying to attract any kind of industrial activity, including data centers, that can put a downward pressure on utility rates for consumers. Because one of the biggest things I hear from people is costs are too high. And when you get this steady 24/7 user and they can build their own capacity, sometimes feed it back to the grid, that can lead to lower rates for everybody. So we want to do the analysis, do the homework. It's not data centers for the sake of data centers, but yes, some of them absolutely can help bring down rates and meet our water needs.
Just very quickly with about 30 seconds left, now how do you convince voters that it is possible to be a leader in AI and also have responsible growth as a state?
Look, we show them the electricity information, rates coming down, water. I think what's here is a deeper-seated fear. In general,
Sunshine. Thank you so much, Melissa Sweetser.
Brush back against AI itself, not so much a data center. It's a symbol of AI. I think that's why it's tapping into this deep emotional core among the electorate right now.
Fuck socialists. What do you mean fuck socialists? You don't like socialists? Then you hate Donald Trump. Donald Trump's a socialist. So you must hate Donald Trump. You're welcome here. You're welcome here. But I don't know why you hate socialism. You just hate socialism just like what you hate libraries? What do you hate about socialism? You hate the military? What do you hate about socialism? Everyone says this like they just say this word socialism. I don't think they know what it means, Melissa. What do these people think socialism means? I mean, 21% say in my poll that they want to go with the National Socialists. 21% of the people 20% of the people watching are Nazis. They're Nazis. That's whose side they want to be on. Donald Trump is a National Socialist. They don't care.
On this special edition of News 4 Tucson, breaking news. Overnight in downtown Tucson, a mass shooting leaves 9 injured. Tucson police say those victims were taken to the hospital in critical condition, with most of them suffering injuries to their extremities. Tucson police say an officer shot the suspected gunman. The suspect tonight is at a hospital. His condition is life-threatening. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for being with us. I'm Eric Fink. Tucson police tell us the shooting happened around 2 a.m.
Matthew hates roads and the internet. Matthew, get off the internet, Matthew. You're not allowed on the internet anymore, baby doll. You hate socialism. You can't be on the internet. Sorry. Socialism built the internet. You hate fire departments. You're not allowed to call the fire department anymore, Matthew. If your house is on fire, do not call the fire department, or else that makes you a socialist. Everyone's a socialist, dipshits. Get used to the idea.
a.m. downtown on the 100 block of East Congress. Officers on duty downtown heard multiple gunshots and raced to the scene. This reportedly took place at the Empire Pizza Shop downtown. Again, police say 9 people were hurt. Officials are hopeful they will all survive. News 4 Tucson's Jacob Owens joins us live at the scene tonight.
Damn, you don't usually see this type of thing in Tucson. See, Tucson, they got lots of guns. Did they have a shootout? I saw a shootout in Tucson. I'm like, what? Everyone's got guns.
It's more. Jacob, what can you tell us?
Eric, as you can see behind me, investigators reopened these streets downtown after more than 12 hours of work down here.
It's a dry heat in Tucson.
And as you mentioned, Empire Pizza, that's a business directly behind me. We can tell you that they are open again tonight. No manager on duty. I went in there seeing if I could speak to someone. But they put out a post on social media earlier today saying that the shooting happened outside the restaurant, and they're crediting Tucson police for getting here in possibly under 1 minute. We're going to give you more of their statement and thoughts on this shooting in a moment here. But first, we're going to take you to early this morning. So now you're seeing this morning that video of this, as you said, Eric, mass shooting here in Tucson. So Tucson police responded to the area of North 6th Avenue and Congress Street around 2 a.m. after gunshots rang out. Tucson police say an adult male suspect was running from the scene when officers gave him several commands. He ignored those commands, and then police say an officer shot the suspect. That suspect was taken to a hospital in life-threatening condition. Tucson police say the shooting victims were all adults. Those victims were transported in critical condition, and most of those injuries were...
Look at all this socialism right here. All these cops getting paid by the government. Look at all this socialism right here. The cops getting paid by tax dollars trying to clean up and guide traffic.
The arms, legs, and...
Look at that. Look, there's a traffic light right there. That's socialism. See the street light there for safety, just so that it's illuminated at night. That's also socialism. There's a lot of socialism just like in this picture right here that you're watching over the internet that was also paid for by socialism.
Ankles. Rachel Reinhart learned of the shooting while trying to get to one of the several businesses that were forced to close their doors for the day as police continued their investigation.
I felt very sad. I feel sad for the people.
Everyone's carrying, Robert. How come these people got shot? How come they had to wait for the cops?
Yeah, that's horrible.
Now you're seeing part of that statement from Empire Pizza and Pub. They're saying in part, we opened 16 years ago. We opened before the streetcar, before private development, and before Rio Nuevo. It breaks our hearts to see what downtown has become. There's a stronger security presence guarding our bus station than any business downtown. Eric.
Well, the bus station, we need people protecting the bus station. They're supposed to protect the people, not businesses,
Back here on scene, Tucson police have said this morning that they know the identity of the male suspect in this mass shooting, but they still have not released that identity as of tonight. We're not expecting another media briefing tonight. Reporting live downtown, Jake Owens.
Evidently, those people weren't carrying at the pizza shop at the pub. Are you allowed to carry a gun in a pub in Arizona? I mean, is it legal to carry a gun into a bar in Arizona? You can carry a concealed handgun into a bar or restaurant that serves alcohol as long as you do not consume alcohol and the establishment does not have a clearly posted sign prohibiting weapons. If you are openly carrying, the rules are stricter. Okay, so you cannot consume any alcohol if you're carrying a firearm in these establishments. The state treats the combination as a serious criminal offense, even if you feel perfectly sober. Okay, that's what I kind of figured. I didn't, some states, you're not even allowed to have a gun in the bar. This because alcohol and firearms don't mix. The law permitting guns in places that serve alcohol applies only to concealed handguns. Open carrying a firearm in a bar is against the law. Okay, so you have to have a concealed carry. Constitutional carry. Well, Arizona is constitutional carry state. If you have to be 21 to carry a concealed without a permit. Oh man, without a permit, crazy. Carrying in a bar without an active concealed weapons permit means you must strictly adhere to all property signage, and you must still not consume alcohol. Okay, so maybe that's why there were no guns. People leave their guns at home because they're going to go out drinking. They're like, I'm going to go get my drink on. I'm going to put my gun away. So that makes sense. Maybe that's why you can have a gun, but you can't drink. And if I'm going to go out drinking, I got to leave the gun at home. And then if somebody comes and shoots up the bar, I'm just going to get shot, I guess. I guess that's how it works. I don't know. In California, I'm pretty sure you're not even allowed to have your gun in the, I'm pretty sure you can't have a gun at a bar at all. I don't know. It's been a while since I've done all those tests and everything.
By saying, Ms. Oyer, I hold you in the highest esteem and respect, especially what you're doing now as a private citizen. You use a platform to educate people about the law. It is technical, but yet accessible. And the badgering you just endured, it should be completely unacceptable. You were asked to comment on things you didn't have before you.
All right. Enough of the ass kissing. Let's
the
go.
treatment here to me is just outrageous. And I apologize on behalf of the United States Senate. This idea that as a private citizen, you can't sell things is insulting to me when we have Kash Patel, our sitting FBI director, selling merch on his site. When you have a president of the United States hawking the Bible, and yet you as a private citizen who has a platform to inform people about the law, how dare we make such an accusation when the mockery of
Sweet Havoc. The fuck are you talking about? How do you think the socialism? What do you think? Is the government paying for a military, like a military funded wholly by taxpayer dollars? Is that a form of socialism? Yes. They aren't the means of production, but they are collectively and publicly owned by the workers, but rather by private individuals. But instead of socialism, a public funded military is maybe a better example of a core function of the state. Yeah, okay. In a mixed economy. Oh God. In these government systems, governments collect taxes to provide public goods like national defense, roads, and police that benefit the entire society and would be difficult for individuals to purchase privately. Yeah, that's socialism. While the military relies on collective tax-based funding, the foundational industries that build weapons, vehicles, and technology for the military are usually privately owned. That's corporatism. Profit-driven companies rather than state-owned enterprises. Bingo. Yep. Thank you very much for playing.
justice, the exploitation and the grifting off of their offices has never received criticism from that side of the aisle. And yet they want to demean you as a private citizen for engaging in commerce. That's ridiculous. In addition to the fact that you were a career.
You think California is all What is you guys think that California is all Democrats? My representative is Republican. I live in a Republican district in California. You guys are Democrats are fucking California's all Democrats. You're so stupid. Are you that stupid? My state legislator is also Republican. My state legislator and my representative are both Republicans. My college degree from California has the signature of the governor. And when I graduated, he was a Republican. My college degree has a signature or an autograph because he's a famous guy. He was very famous. I had the autograph on my college degree, and he's a Republican. And you're like, oh, California's Democrats, though.
Public servant for your entire life. You are a public defender. Underpaid, overworked, not for a year, not for 5 years, but for years. The dignity and the service you have brought, no matter whether we disagree with your politics or not, should merit the praise of every single senator here. So I apologize for what you endured. I thank you for the service you've given to this country. And on matters of horrible killings, horrific acts, these are complicated matters. I hold here, and I'll submit this for the record, people who were victims, families, survivors.
No, it's more like National Socialism. I mean, I guess you would say that because the military uses almost exclusively private contractors to do all sorts of mercenary things and build their tanks and jets and all that stuff, you would call it a mixed economy situation. But that's still all paid for by your tax dollars in the name of public good. Socialism, at the end of the day, is just the prioritization of public good over private profit. Now, what's the military? The military is definitely stealing money from you in order to give money to billionaires. So it's sort of just National Socialism at the end of the day. you'd be hard pressed. But if you don't like having a military paid for by the government because you hate socialism, I mean, that's definitely socialism. They're taking money for you and saying this is good for all of us. We're going to use that and build a military. It sounds pretty socialist to me.
Who wrote letters to the President of the United States asking not to have the death penalty put there. And I understand there's differing views, but you are putting those complicated decisions to write career memos for the president to make decisions about who's pardoned and not. And so I am sorry. What I witnessed, I came late to the hearing, was just unacceptable to me. And I am grateful as somebody that follows you.
Oh, you're killing me. Fucking.
What is your assessment
I'm so sick of fucking Cory Booker.
of how strong the military is as an institution? Can it withstand a 2-year or 4-year interlude of perhaps
California, no, it's not Republican control. It's a mix, just like a lot of places. California is a very big state. All of the Central Valley, all the big areas up until this whole thing with the Texas and the redistricting thing happened, it was pretty mixed, Republican and Democrat. Of course, now everything has changed. 5 seats had to go to Democrats because they had to gerrymander everything in order to deal with the whole Texas debacle. But whatever, I don't know why you think the Democrats are. First of all, Democrats and Republicans, not that different. Secondly, Democrats do not run California. I have a Republican congressperson and I have a Republican state legislator. I live in a Republican district inside of California, and they still have lots of power because the people who support because the area that I live in that supports a Republican, there's a lot of rich people involved, and those people are important to the government. And they also in the Central Valley and stuff, where they have huge dairy farms because it's the #1 dairy and agriculture state in the fucking country, those people have a lot of power. You understand? Just because there are fewer of them, they have fewer seats, they have a lot of power. So like calling California as if it's this monolith of Democrats is, well, foolish.
intensely partisan leader of the military or an intensely partisan president?
Well, Margaret, we don't know. We've not had a test like this, at least in my lifetime, and any time I can remember in American history. We are in an era now when there's been an unprecedented purge of military leaders, not for incompetence or misbehavior, that's always appropriate and required, but for political affiliation or for following policies that they had been instructed to follow in previous administrations. And so the problem is when you start to purge people out of an institution, that necessarily weakens it. And it's not always obvious initially. The Army and the Pentagon still look as strong as ever. The Navy's got the same number of ships. But the military is based on a culture. And that culture is one of respect. It's one of service. It was always been one of being apolitical. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we'll know how weak it is until the wind blows.
Should we have an apolitical military?
It's hard. And then suddenly we'll find out whether we've actually damaged the structure beyond repair. And that's a question I think about a lot.
It concerns you?
Yes, ma'am. What will it take for our military to get back into what I would consider a healthy state? I'm sure there's some people that say that get rid of the people who believed in DEI or other issues makes us a better military. I just have a different view.
Right.
But I think the military has to be a mirror of American society. And if America doesn't see itself in the military, and if the military doesn't see itself in society, then you have this natural separation. And we've actually, with the volunteer,
they call it drift. In fact, I'm not a big Rachel Maddow fan, but she wrote a book called Drift, which is the fact that the American military and the American people are drifting apart, so that people don't see themselves as represented by the military anymore, and the military doesn't see themselves represented by the people, and so the military starts looking at the people like enemies of the state. It's a dangerous road.
Military, we've always had the danger that the military would become so professionalized that they would be a separate entity. Yeah. And you don't really want that. At least I don't. When we go to war, I want every zip code at risk. Yeah. I want every part of society fully invested.
I mean, in your estimation, is the culture that you talk about in the military, is it, in your experience, strong enough to withstand a 2 or 4 year period that is quite different from the one you're familiar with?
I think the military culture is strong, but I'm not convinced that it's unbreakable. Okay. I think that there's every likelihood that we've weakened things and it will be difficult to repair it.
It will be extremely difficult to repair. I don't know if we're going to repair it. I think it's over. Like, once you started calling it Department of War and shit, and like Pete Hegseth and all that, like, how the hell are we going to come back? I don't see that we're going to.
Controversial social media influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate were arrested in Miami over the weekend. U.S. Marshals arrested the brothers on Saturday. They will make their first court appearance in Miami later today. And officials in the UK are seeking to extradite the men from the U.S. to face charges.
Well, I like that they twinning. I do you think that Tristan got his hair plugged? Did Tristan get hair plugs? Do you think Andrew hates Tristan because Tristan has hair?
Charges. They are accused of rape and assault in Great Britain. The brothers had previously faced charges for human trafficking.
Human trafficking, rape, assault. That sounds like Donald Trump. That's why they love Trump. They're both big Trump fans. Well, how come all these rapists and child molesters and human traffickers, they all love Donald Trump? Why is that? Why is that? Why did Donald Trump pardon the former president of Honduras? What's his name? Orlando Ortiz. Why did he do that? Why did he invite these guys to Mar-a-Lago? Why is Tristan Tate such a big Donald Trump fan? Why is that? The Tate brothers being arrested major a year. It's time. Well, you know, they just listed all the crimes that Donald Trump is guilty of: rape, sex trafficking, and assault. Donald Trump is guilty of all those crimes. He's been accused of all of them. Yeah. Well, Skyjacker, you only have to look at how incompetent the Russian Soviet military is to see that the country really should keep political appointees out of the military and promote people on merit. I mean, that's pretty. I think any kind of bureaucracy doesn't need ideological purity tests, which is exactly also, by the way, why the French Revolution ended up the way it did, with 10 years of terror. And then all of a sudden Napoleon rising to power, mostly because they started political appointees and saying, if you aren't, any kind of bureaucratic position or military position, they started asking, loyalty tests instead of, can you do the job? Because usually bureaucrats don't give a fuck. They're just going with the flow. They just want to keep a job. Most people just want to keep working, They don't give a shit who's in power. Especially if you have a thing like a constitution, helps a lot. But the Constitution's gone. Nobody cares about the Constitution anymore. It's over. Nobody gives a shit about the Constitution anymore.
In Romania.
An internal affairs investigation did not conclude that the lieutenant actually stalked anyone. However, found the officer used the system to look up 2 plates dozens of times for years. ABC 13's Liliana Pierce.
Why are cops using flock cameras to do weird shit? You trust cops to do warrantless searches?
And got this information through open records and is live at the sheriff's office with what they reveal. Liliana?
Gina, we aren't naming the lieutenant at the center of this investigation because they aren't facing any charges. However, this is coming as we're hearing from some in the public who are telling us they believe that different law enforcement agencies should be doing away with these flock cameras altogether. Documents obtained by ABC 13 show a Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office lieutenant used flock cameras to look up one license plate 41 times and another plate 148 times from January of 2022 through last December. According to those documents, the lieutenant admitted the search was not related to official law enforcement work. The investigation started when a resident filed a complaint alleging the lieutenant was, quote, stalking them and that they were in fear.
It's true. I talk about Steffenson. I talk about this a lot with the Barack Obama thing, and he killed Osama bin Laden. But he killed Osama bin Laden with no trial. Don't you think we should have given this guy a trial and heard him out, find out what the fuck was going on? Get all the names of all of his co-conspirators, get all the names of anybody who gave him money, put this asshole on trial, force him to answer questions. But no, they just went and killed him for some reason. You ever notice that? And also Barack Obama killed innocent, maybe. Barack Obama also did drone strikes on people extrajudiciously without any kind of evidence that they did anything wrong. But fishermen, civilians, killing civilians. They love killing civilians, these presidents. They love it.
For their family's safety. The internal affairs document shows the lieutenant claimed to have been concerned.
Every president since Carter has been a war criminal. Every single one.
That the 2 drivers were, quote, lurking near their home and family. The documents describe the relationship between at least one of the drivers as a, quote, very contentious familial relationship with the known vehicle owner. An internal affairs investigation found the lieutenant violated department general orders and was suspended for 2 days. Flock cameras have become increasingly controversial due to privacy and security concerns. People recently packed a Harris County Commissioner's Court meeting urging them not to renew a flock contract. Houston police tell us they're continuing to investigate a rash of flock cameras.
Exactly. They love doing that shit. They never like to have trials. We have a constitutional right to a trial, and they always want to avoid trial. Do you think that Tyler Robinson's going to get a trial? Do you think that Luigi Mangioni's going to get a trial? All the stuff you're seeing is all pre-trial stuff. Do you think he's going to get a trial? Do you think we're going to know what was said in those trials? Do you think we're going to get to hear, if there is a trial, you think we're going to get to hear the truth? Think they're going to take the stand? They're going to ask some questions for all of us?
Destroyed across the city.
Accessing information you're not supposed to by itself typically would be like an
an administrative or ethical violation.
University of Houston law professor David Kwok says for the improper use of a flock camera to be escalated beyond administrative repercussions,
I love people cutting down these fucking flock cameras.
there needs to be a clear intent of harm.
Something that seems vague, like we don't know what they're doing with it, but they should be touching that, tends to not be handled criminally.
According to documents, the lieutenant claimed to not have done anything with the information retrieved from the flock cameras and claimed it wasn't shared with anyone else.
Why was a lieutenant in the fucking cop service? Why was a police lieutenant looking at two particular license plates over years, just tracking them just for fun?
I have been attempting to reach the lieutenant at the center of this investigation. I've also reached out to the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office. I'm waiting to hear back from both.
Oh, they're not going to talk to you, honey.
Ukrainian forces have struck 3 oil depots and
remember when Donald Trump said this war would be over 24 hours after the election?
fuel facility in Russia's southern Stavropol region this morning. President Volodymyr Zelensky has said 3 Russian Shadow fleet tankers were also hit in the Black Sea. It comes after a major Russian aerial assault on Kiev and other cities on Sunday, which Ukrainian authorities said killed at least 6 people and injured 16.
We don't have any flock cameras on the hospital. We only have cameras on the civilians, not on Mitch. That would be a violation of privacy. Having a video on Mitch McConnell right now is a violation of privacy, but you can have millions of cameras on you. No problem.
In others, the attack on Ukraine's capital is believed to be the biggest ballistic missile attack of the war. Kiev's government said firefighters were responding to blazes in 5 different districts after the attack. One of the biggest in recent weeks hit residential buildings, office and industrial sites, a dormitory and vehicles. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha said the raid involved around 4 dozen ballistic missiles, the largest number in a single attack since the war began. The attack on Kiev comes a day after Ukrainian drone strikes.
You think you were having a bad day?
Killed at least 9 people at warehouses belonging to a major Russian shopping website.
400 Ukrainian missiles, man, drones. I knew this was gonna happen. I thought this shit would have happened like 2 years ago, but man, it keeps happening.
Volodymyr Zelensky said the strikes targeted significant logistical facilities, accusing Wildberries of providing equipment for drones and navigation equipment for the Russian military.
What are you gonna do when one of them drops a nuke? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when there's a nuclear weapon goes off in Europe? What's gonna happen? Do you think the world will change if a nuclear weapon goes off in Europe?
Let's get down to business. President Trump's social media company, Truth Social, is looking to make a profit off of what he posts because a lot of what he says moves markets. Starting next month, the company plans to sell early access to what he posts milliseconds before the rest of us can see it. For traders or investors, this can make all the difference in millions of dollars worth of trades. Other social media companies already do this, but in this case, we are talking about paying for information from the president of the United States that can move global markets. This is placing bets and making investments off information that is only available to those who pay for early access. So the question, is this insider trading or is it just another grift? The fact is that this is now right out there in the open and it boggles the mind. This is not how free markets are supposed to work. And it sets up the possibility of manipulating the market to make a quick buck. And the president could take a slice. He, of course, is the largest shareholder in the company that owns Truth Social, already worth more than $1 billion. My question, where are the biggest names in banking? Where are the titans of Wall Street? They know the rules of trading better than anyone. They live and die from them. I understand that they are enjoying an extraordinary market run with near record levels and getting things done with very little regulation or oversight by this administration. But this right here is a whole other level and has us asking the question, is this White House for sale? Here now, Danny.
Of course it's for sale. You know what's crazy too is that for years at Wall Street, companies would try to get closer to the exchange because even the milliseconds over the copper wire that was sending the information to these brokerages, they were trying to get close because the speed at which information traveled was different just a few feet down the line, and they can make deals more quickly. They can make trades more quickly. Isn't that wild? And so now the same thing is true. They're still doing the same thing when now, since Donald Trump can change the markets with just what he says, you could pay for access to Donald Trump just milliseconds before everybody else so that you can make trades on your stock market, on your stock portfolio before everybody else does and make millions of dollars. What a wonderful thing. How incredible. Incredible. Yes, it's for sale. Of course it's for sale. Of course it's for sale. Of course. I just want to make sure this is the last one. I just want to make sure that we have this last one because I got to go. I'm moving. I don't know if you guys know I'm moving. I got to pack. Like and subscribe. Hit that like button. Double tap the screen. If you already liked and subscribed, please drop an emoji in the chat. Let me know what your vibe is.
Across the country yesterday, thousands of Americans that you see on your screen took to the streets to protest against ICE and the Trump administration's harsh immigration crackdown. One of the largest demonstrations was in Portland, Maine, where protesters gathered in honor of 25-year-old Johan Guerrero, the second immigrant killed in an ICE shooting in just the past week. The demonstrations come as President Trump is urging ICE to keep up aggressive traffic stop operations despite the recent deadly shootings. At the same time, President Trump spent his week focused on reviving election conspiracy theories. His aim seems to be to lay the groundwork to challenge the midterm election results if Republicans lose. But days after Trump's primetime address, which he promised would present overwhelming evidence of widespread voter fraud, the response from even much of his own party has been muted.
Yeah.
Even Fox News largely steered clear of the president's election claims, a decision that has infuriated some of Trump's most loyal allies, including former advisor.
What are they supposed to say? They don't want to spend another $1 billion. They can't say shit about Dominion. They can't say one thing about that election. Fox News, they got sued and lost because they lied about them stealing, about Donald Trump having the election stolen from him. They lied, and it was proven that the election was not stolen from Donald Trump in 2020.
To Steve Bannon.
Fox News didn't cover any of that. As bad as it was, Fox News didn't do anything on the look, the Murdochs are 100. They hate Trump. They hate MAGA. Anybody, if you watch Fox,
they hate Trump and hate Murdochs
and support that crap, you are part of the problem. They didn't do, they had the vanity last night was embarrassing on what they did afterwards. They cut right away and went to their favorite topic, bombing Iran. We got to bomb Iran.
Well, he is bombing Iran. We are at war there, Steve. Like, what do you want? Like, Donald Trump's talking about fixing elections. You should be happy that they're not talking about it.
Unbelievable.
Joining us now, Angelo Corazon, president of Media Matters. Thank you for getting up early and heading to the table. Let's start right there. Fox News has 787 million reasons not to engage in more conspiracy theory lies. But
780, yeah, because $783 million they had to spend, almost $1 billion, because they lied about the 2020 election, and there's still a lot of idiots that believe it.
On the larger ecosystem on the right, how did this land? How much were people actually talking about it?
So it's true about the Fox thing. We should make it really explicit. I mean, after the speech ended, Bret Baier said that Fox News can't confirm anything the president said. Then they didn't talk about it in primetime. They didn't talk about it at all the next day. In fact, if you only watch Fox News, you think the big speech this week was Marco Rubio. You wouldn't know anything about Trump's speech. That's how much they ignored it, and they went out of their way to ignore it. And sometimes that's a way to help, right? Carry water. But I think the larger message has been penetrated, this idea that elections are to be doubted, and that gets to how did it play broadly. Because the audience it's not to convince America, right? It is actually, there were three groups that he was speaking to. It was the operators, like the Steve Bannons. It was the faithful, the people that are really diehard election deniers that have been waiting for him to make this a big thing and do something. And then impatient people, that they want something more substantial. They want action like a national emergency or the Insurrection Act. Those people are excited. The impatient people are still impatient. Yeah. But the rest of them got the message loud and clear, which is that this is the premieres. This is the starting gun. He just fired it. And they think they're off to the races. So broadly speaking, it was a total duck. And they can be easily measured and dissected from that perspective. But to the key audience that he was speaking to, they're ready to go.
The people who might need to take action, or whether that's running action or rhetorical action from now on.
Proud Boys.
That's right. I mean, they see it as this is the moment to start to mobilize around not just local polling stations, but in particular the story that people who should not be voting are going to be voting. So anything and everything is on the table, which is prepare for some type of armed presence at these polling stations, to doing your own independent investigations, to track down people that shouldn't be voting. This was for them was the starting gun. This is the.
So you're saying his supporters were not disappointed?
They were not.
Just don't say gun anymore. Can you stop saying starting gun? It's getting me nervous.
They were not disappointed. Yeah.
You mentioned three audiences, but before I give you my question, let's play the exchange that our colleague Von Hilliard had Thursday night after this. You know what video I'm about to show. If you don't know the video I'm about to show, watch now.
Do you acknowledge that there were no votes changed in 2020?
All I can acknowledge is what the intelligence shows. Right? I only know the intelligence community has zero evidence.
I love this. They get him out of here. Have you seen this? We have zero evidence there was a fixed election. And watch what they do.
Someone has flipped that a foreign power flipped a vote in 2020, 22, or 24.
So the 2020 election was in fact the results as we the American public.
I'm still researching. So let me. This is the first.
But there's no intelligence.
Not yet.
There's no intelligence that the election.
You gotta go. You gotta get out of here. Gotta get out of here. You're answering questions that we don't want you to answer. Get out of here. There's no evidence of election fraud.
Would have said that Donald Trump was president.
Now, Angela, I wanted to show that because you mentioned the president was talking to three audiences.
Yeah.
But I wonder if this was just one audience, but it was reversed. And this is something that I think Eugene brought up yesterday. That what if, and I don't know if this was actually on air or during the commercial break, so I apologize in advance, Eugene. But it had all the feel of
Guy Fawkes, welcome.
His cabinet, the people around him, just letting him do this, just so he could get it out of his system. And I say that because we don't have, we showed the picture yesterday, but it's the vice president, the chief of staff, the acting attorney general, the FBI director, the DNI, acting DNI, they're all in that room as he spouts all these falsehoods and lies and relitigates the 2020 election. And that's why when Fox News decided, we're going to show it, but we're not going to talk about it, was this just a let's make the big guy feel good about himself?
I think, yeah, I'm sure that's a part of it. But what I think we can't discount are a few things. One, that John Solomon guy, he's bad news. Okay, he's a harbinger of bad news, and it's worth remembering, especially in the context of that silly video, is that he is largely responsible for Donald Trump's first impeachment. He was the one that was pushing the Giuliani Ukraine stuff that Trump sort of ran with. This guy has a long track record. He is a sort of a Pied Piper of conspiracy theories and narratives that Trump is willing to run with. And the second thing is that it gets to the point that you're talking about the people around him. Let's talk about some of those people. This week, J.D. Vance went on Joe Rogan's podcast and said that Spencer Pratt is a legitimate mayor of Los Angeles, that the election was stolen. So they may not want to carry water for Venezuela or China stealing the election or some kind of Italian
Spencer Pratt
satellites involved switching votes. I mean, this is not, they don't want to carry water for those stories, but they are willing to push the idea that the election is being stolen. They're willing to push the predicate that something big is here and it requires increased action. And it's not just Vance. The people around that are in key positions, like Heather Honey, who's in DHS, he was an election denier. Now she's a government official. But my point of it is, these people don't need to storm the Capitol anymore. They were issued badges. They're part of the government. So the audiences are small, but the actors are significant.
There are a lot of election deniers all across the Trump administration. Heather Honey is working. Heather Honey is working on election integrity within the DHS. John Solomon, the former journalist who now works on the task force for the election. But I want to go back to what you were saying, that his supporters were not disappointed by the speech, because I was talking to a former Trump administration official who said that he created a base that loves the guillotine. Yeah, that was what this former.
He created a base that loves the guillotine. What?
Talking to a former Trump administration official who said that he created a base that loves the guillotine. Yeah. That was what this former official said. And so this official was essentially skeptical that his base would be happy with this speech because there were no charges that were brought as a result of it. So do you think that even though maybe in the immediate they are pleased with what the president did, that if they don't see any real action, they're going to not turn out?
When you say that you created a base for your political party that loves the guillotine, who do you think he's talking about?
I think it's an important observation. You
think he's talking about the French revolutionaries?
Third category, the impatient. That's the.
Or what other political party who rose to power used the guillotine to kill dissenters? Which political party in modern history used the guillotine the most?
Largest audience. They're done with this. They don't care about the details anymore. They're sold. You don't need to sell them. Now they want something.
For 10 years.
Right. They want charges. They want action. And it's worth keeping in mind that this is not taking place in a vacuum. That audience is already disappointed about all the Epstein stuff.
Thank you.
Okay? They're tired of them constantly doing this long con. Next week, we're going to do something and not getting any action. And they had bloodlust. They had bloodlust. And so you're right. There's very, very short shelf life here for him to actually take action. And the singular action that they
bloodlust. I see all they're doing is setting a stage to accuse Dems of cheating. I think what they're doing is creating a misinformation campaign or disinformation campaign in order to keep people afraid to go to the polls, because I think a lot of people are hearing kind of the noise, they're hearing the static, and people don't know what they're hearing, and they think, oh, I can't vote anymore because I need these extra IDs. They don't know that that's not the case. People aren't so plugged in, and they hear things and they misunderstand stuff. I mean, literally in the 2024 election, people were Googling, the number one Googled thing on November 5th, 2024 was, is Joe Biden running for president? They didn't know. People didn't know that Joe Biden was not running for president. I think the same thing's going to happen. Most people don't know. They just hear, oh, shit, the president's going to make me do this shit. And they don't know that they have a right to vote. And most people don't even know. Most people don't vote anyway. And so the dummies that don't know, not dummies, they're just like, I shouldn't say dummies. The people that are just not, the uninformed are just going to be afraid to vote.
Is a national emergency and a massive crackdown. And I think that's where you see that tied in a little bit with the ICE actions this week. I think part of the reason why he sort of overturned that sort of pause on these stop actions, because he knows his audience they're impatient. They want something. And even though they're not exactly together, they are a little bit connected. And so that is going to be the real determiner. It's either going to be a total flop and he's going to upset his audience even more, or it's going to be that impatient.
Yes, a Fallbeil is a guillotine. Yes, Fallbeil was the German word for guillotine, and they used it the person who's used it the most was the Nazi party under Hitler. They used the guillotine. Sophie Scholl and her brother were killed by the guillotine. Anyone who wrote anything or said anything bad about Adolf Hitler was the guillotine. And that way before all the camps and everything, they started just cutting everybody's heads off with guillotines. Yep, that's right. People forget that Adolf Hitler used the Fallbeil. Yeah, the Fallbeil. The falling axe or the falling hatchet. Mit die Hackebeil. Mit die Hackebeilchen. Die Hackebeilchen. Mit der kleinen Hackebeilchen macht der Hackefleisch aus dir. All right, we got a guest. His name is Guy Fawkes Day. How are you, Guy Fawkes? What's the deal and how you feeling, buddy boy?
Howdy. I got just a few shorts that are relevant to this weekend.
All right, let's end it with a few shorts. Let's end it with a few shorts. We're going to do it right now. You did not use a you didn't use a okay, you did not use a what do you call it?
Playlist.
Playlist. You did not use a playlist. That's okay.
I'm actually pulling some out of my playlist because there's too many. So we're just
There's too many?
Just gonna do 4. I need you to do the first one, then the last one, and then that that order works better.
All right, cool. Let me adjust. We're gonna show you your this one right here.
Yeah, that would. First one, second one, then last one, then third one. Okay.
Okay, I want to try to make this big. Okay, there we go. They're all shorts, right? So we're gonna keep
this is a Flock one. They go to the headquarters of Flock, and this happens.
Okay, let's do it.
Flock, the company that makes all these cameras that are spying on everybody, doesn't like to be spied on.
Are you with Flock?
What?
Are you with Flock?
No, there's a construction firm I work with, CSD.
This man, James Boyce, is a former British Army veteran and a current Flock supply chain manager. Not only did he lie about working for Flock, which I'm guessing is probably normal at this company, but he also implied to Georgia law enforcement that I could have been armed. And we'll soon see if that puts my life in danger.
Lied to the police. He lied. He falsified a call to the police saying they might be armed because they have cameras.
Holy shit.
You can afford
dude.
a camera. You can afford a pistol.
This guy tried to get him killed. He tried to get him killed.
Swatted.
He totally had him swatted. That's crazy, dude.
Flock swatting people?
Look at this cop. He looks like he's scared shitless already. Are you armed? Are you armed?
I'll wait here until the manager talks. You're holding me until that guy talks, but you're not telling me if I'm going to be detained. Yeah, you are. Am I allowed to leave? Can I go in my car and leave? Are you?
Yeah, you gotta say, "Am I free to go?" By the way, anybody, if this ever happens to you, you say, "Am I free to go?" They have to answer, "Free to go? Am I free to go?"
Safe right now, sir. I've reports that you've been to basic.
Yeah, I'm free to go. Am I free to go?
Then you can just stand there because you're free to stay as well.
Yeah, but I would not stay. I'd be out of there like fucking lickety split. Lickety split. I'd be Audi 5000. I'd be fast out. I'd be so fast. I'd be out like a limp dick on prom night. I'd be out. I'm out. Out like a limp dick.
Every Flock safety site and facility that you know of. Correct. Yeah. So your surveillance is correct. We're doing our own surveillance. People don't really feel safe right now with people randomly trying to get into our sites and buildings. Oh, wait. You don't feel safe being surveilled. Is that what you're saying? Not at all.
Ah, you fucking English bastard. What the fuck is this English bastard doing in my country surveilling us? What's he doing here?
Probably was just watching cameras all day.
Man, I hear that accent. I automatically think the British Empire. The British Empire. Mr. Gandhi will soon discover that the British Empire does not fold easily to the likes of him. The power of the crown. Damn it, Guy Fawkes.
Because that's what you guys do to us without our consent. Okay. And I think it's interesting when you guys have this happen, you call the police and make us get stopped.
That's right. Rules for thee, but not for me. So I don't want anybody paying a visit to their super secret HQ located in this building. Don't screenshot this address.
It's in Atlanta, Georgia, everybody. Do we have anybody in Atlanta that could take some pictures of this? People should just be taking pictures of this all the time. Just go there and take a picture and post it. Just stay there for 15 minutes. Anyone who comes or goes, take a picture of them, dox the people who are in there.
Also, definitely don't hit that share button. So it turns out
all right, Flock doesn't like you to see that shit. That's for sure. Nice. What do you think? Thank you, Harmon Sarwar. You're amazing. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you.
Yeah, they're just Karen. It's a Karen manager. But yeah, he should be in jail because he said they had guns.
He should be. That should be
falsifying report to a police
false report.
officer.
Yes, false police report. You're not allowed to do that.
With attempted murder. Fuck.
It kind of was. It was like literally calling a guy with a gun to point it at you, and the cop acted like all crazy too. The cop came in and acted all crazy. But I swear to God, I would have been like, "Am I free to go?" Later. I just start walking away. Stop
Later,
me.
Tater. I'll be back in a half hour.
Yeah. Stop me, police. I got what I needed to get. All right. Next up is...
It's Luke.
Oh, it's this guy again. You love this guy.
He's on topic.
It's Luke. He's angry again. He's angry again.
Well, happy.
What?
He's happy in this one.
Is he happy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not. He's happy. He's not angry. He's always angry. You're a fucking whatever. Fuck you. Fucking fuck. This guy like. All right, this guy's super angry. Let's see what he's angry about today. Always happy about the Tate brothers, huh? The Tate brothers. Who's the guy with the beard?
The Tate brothers got caught trumping.
How do you feel about the Tate brothers? Is this justice served?
Oh, I'm smiling. They're getting taken back to UK. So it's funny how both clips are British oriented.
The long arm of the law, the UK law.
Yeah. So interesting enough, they're actually arrested by U.S. Marshals, but the U.S. Marshals are under Trump's command, and they've been doing some weird shit too.
Yeah.
And they won't arrest Trump for his crimes because he tells them who to arrest. But these guys were trumping and they're getting extradited. So I don't think this passed his desk.
Even if it did, you think Donald Trump wouldn't sell these assholes out?
Well, I think he'd just take a small dono and then write a pardon.
It depends on what Keir Starmer is telling him and shit. Who knows what's going on the there's a lot going on with if the Prime Minister's like, excuse me, Mr. Trump, Donald, we're gonna have to have the Tate brothers. I think he'll send them up the river. He doesn't give a shit. Donald Trump has no loyalty, man. He doesn't care. Why are all these guys allowed to touch him once he's in handcuffs? Every time I've been in handcuffs, everyone's like, "Don't fucking touch him!" Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Why are everyone?
I want to know who brought the cameras.
I don't know, TMZ.
And just like that, the Odyssey has competition for best thing I've seen all weekend because Andrew Tate and his shit-stained brother Tristan have been arrested in Miami. And all I have to say is good fucking riddance. Before I read you all of the heinous shit that these motherfuckers are being charged.
Oh, the heinous shit! Oh, the anger, man.
I've even seen there's even clips now that they filmed themselves that blurred out, like he's whipping some lady with a heavy belt. It's terrible.
I mean, is this going to be like Diddy? What do you think is going to happen in England?
Charged with
think he's going to go to jail?
Yeah, he's going to get charged for trumping.
You're charged for too much Donald Trump.
The United Kingdom. I want to remind you all that the president and the White House fought tooth and fucking nail to make sure that these motherfuckers could come back in the United States. They made sure of it. I want you to remember that. Andrew Tate is being charged with an additional 7 counts of rape, 3 counts of facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault involving bodily harm, and 19 additional charges for offenses involving indecent images of children and extreme pornography. His brother Tristan is being hit with 1 count of sexual assault, 2 counts of rape, and 3 counts of facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. And these are the people that Donald Trump welcomed back into this fucking country.
I mean, Donald Trump loves that type of stuff. I mean, he's really into that. How many people were killed by the guillotine under Nazi Germany? The Nazi regime estimated 16 to 17,000 people with the guillotine between 1930 and 1945. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't know where you're. Yeah, there's no credible evidence shows mass killings with a guillotine in the Nazi regime.
You can't say there's no credible evidence and not even have tried Google.
War History Online, guillotine, the reign of terror. The Nazis killed 16 to 17,000 people under Adolf Hitler between 1930 and 1945 with the guillotine.
It's like Jay and Silent Bob. What the fuck is the internet?
What the fuck is the internet? Oh my God.
If you play the last one, she rips on their clothes.
Sure, yeah. Hold on. Revolution. They While often associated with the French Revolution, the guillotine was the primary method of capital punishment used by the German justice system during the Third Reich to silence political dissidents, resistance fighters, and common criminals. You know, I study this shit. I have a fucking degree in German, and I still have people coming onto my channel being like, no, it's like, motherfucker, I have a degree in this shit. Like, I went to college and studied this stuff.
But some people have stronger feelings about history.
Okay, yeah, they have feelings. That's true.
Feelings about what's true about history.
All right, whatever. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. So
that was him happy.
that was it. That was his. You're a fuckwit.
But the Odyssey, it was just so on point. I had to get it in on Monday.
Have you seen the Odyssey yet?
No. It would be nice
to
to see it in big screen. Yeah,
you got to see it on the big screen. Don't watch it on the phone. His movies aren't for the phone.
Better than Dune.
Oh yeah, way better than Dune. It has an emotional center. The Dune is just kind of like, it looks pretty, I guess. I don't know. The Dune, is there like an emotional center of Dune? Do you have like some great message of Dune, or is there something that I'm supposed to be paying attention in that shit? Like, I like it. It's fine.
Tyranny, uprising, yeah.
It's kind of like, Dune. Every time I watch Dune, I'm like, that was cool. And then I'm like, I think about it for 5 minutes and I go, ugh, it's all right.
Yeah, the books get pretty crazy. There's one guy who does YouTubes. He says, I read all 37 Dune books, so you don't have to.
Yeah,
not this one. Go to the last one, just because it's still on. The last one is Tate as well. It's just
okay. The last one.
Yeah.
Introducing the new.
Oh God. Okay, hold on a second. Let me adjust. I gotta look around my camera and stuff. Hold on a second. And okay, ready? Here we go.
Introducing the new Asda George collection. The perfect look for the manosphere. When you've been arrested and deported, and the whole world thinks you're a knobhead.
She's got the capris.
Capris, yeah. He's got the capris on too. The fancy shoes,
the chain,
the purple blouse, the crotch hugger pants. You know, you can definitely see the camel toe.
Not on her. Wow, the loafers. That guy's going to jail. He's going to jail like that.
He's a fancy boy in jail, but I wouldn't mess with him.
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, he'll get that big long beard. And remember when he got out of jail in Romania and his hair looked all fucked up and he had a big beard and everything?
Yeah, I wonder why it didn't stick in Romania.
I think wasn't it the witnesses were being tampered with. They had all sorts of problems with the case. I mean, there's all sorts of issues. Like, it's hard.
And the whole world.
Like, rape is hard to prove, and he had like human trafficking stuff. I mean, the British must have something deep on this guy, or else they wouldn't have gone through all this trouble.
Thinks you're a knobhead.
That was great. All right, can I do the other one now?
Yeah, just one for the World Cup. This is the mask guy that does the DC stuff.
Oh, that's the guy with that does the crazy, like the mask with all the buttons and stuff on it. Oh, hold on a second. Here we go. Boop.
Yeah, it's Spain, Argentina this weekend. You guys excited? Hell yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a field day for ice. That's going to be
a field day for ice. Oh, God. Did you watch the game? Who watched the game?
So at some point in the evening, I try to find it online. Fox Sports on YouTube only has they're only looking at two guys, like they're doing a star cam, so you can't see the whole game. And then I finally think I could have gone over to Tubi, and the game was over.
I
mean, like even a half hour earlier, like ChatGPT is like, nope, can't help you. It's probably not anywhere. You should try paying for it or something.
Yeah, pay for
it. And
then
I found the free version.
I did not watch it. I'm done. Ever since they were in Qatar, I'm just not interested in the World Cup anymore.
Soccer's kind of boring, anyways. They only scored one goal the whole game.
Well, I love World Cup soccer. I love the World Cup. I love the whole thing. But I just not anymore, man. Ever since the FIFA is notoriously corrupt and evil. And I can't support it, even though I do like the game. I love the World Cup. I love watching soccer. But
you don't give Satan on Earth Trump the trophy was drag me down to hell. That's what
Well,
Just
it's the same
hands
kind of
dragging.
thing. Yeah, exactly. Hands drag me to hell. I love that movie, by the way. Another Sam Raimi masterpiece. But like, I also don't like the NFL anymore. Like I used to love the NFL, and I hate it now.
And
Like
now they're apolitical for reasons of fascism.
yeah, I mean, like exactly. Well, I hated the NFL ever since
Kaepernick.
actually Michael Vick. I thought that was fucking horrible. Like this guy tortured puppies, and they're like, no, we're gonna keep him in. And then he went to jail and came out, and then they're like, welcome back. And I'm like, how many of these NFL guys are gonna like beat their wives, kill their girlfriends, drown puppies, and we're all just like, this is okay. But then Kaepernick happens, like, no, this is too much, and he can't get a job in the NFL. He was just as good as Michael Vick, but he can't get a job because of what? Because he took a knee during the killing puppies is okay with your bare hand. Drowning puppies with your bare hands is okay, but taking a knee and saying, hey, black people shouldn't be killed by police, that's too much. You're not allowed to do that. I think that's crazy. You don't think that's crazy?
We got the Canadian fog in here yesterday and today, and actually right now there's a thunderstorm outside, raining like crazy, so that's good.
That is nice. I like it. I don't know. It's hot here, but it's gray, so I'm hoping that we're gonna get a little bit of rain. I don't know. When I moved to Albuquerque, I guess I'll ask more questions about let's find out what's the temperature in Albuquerque right now. 86. It's always like 6 degrees higher there than it is where I am, but it also changes temperature a lot. Like the temperature changes, like it get really hot in the afternoon and it get really cold at night, which I'm okay with.
Did you you did close on
what?
Hello? Mic check?
Yeah, there you are.
Did you close on both houses?
Not yet. I'm waiting. Man, it's just like it's freaking me out because I'm packing and I don't know. Like I keep on asking my realtor, like, when am I moving? And she's like, oh, I don't know. Well, like, is it going to close on time? Like, what about the other place? Like, when do I have to be out of my house? Well, I'll tell you this week. I'm scheduling movers and shit, and they're like pretty flexible, but like I'm not. I need to have a fucking plan. Like, I want a deadline. I want to know when I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need to know whether or not I'm gonna be a home. Do I need a home? Do I need an Airbnb for a few days, or like what's the plan here? It kills me, man. It's making me crazy, especially in the high desert. Yeah, the diurnal shift is great because then at least at night you're not hot, which is great. I always say that in California we experience our seasons at night more because the temperature stays pretty stable. So in the daytime, it's always like in the mid 70s. It's always in the 70s. And then the thing is, at night, it's just hot at night, or it's really cold at night. And that's when you really feel the seasons in California, in Southern California. Anyway.
Crazy thing about dry desert air and humid air. So here in Iowa, it's humid as shit. You take a shower, you go outside, you're gonna re-sweat. You take a shower in the desert, you go outside and it dries you.
Yeah.
It pulls off the water.
Yeah, you need to have moisturizing sunscreen and stuff. Have some oil on you. But I always like the dry heat and the dry temperatures more than that oppressive humidity. Like that humidity is like
for your lungs for some reason.
They say it's good for your lungs. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that because I grew up with asthma. I had really bad asthma growing up, and I don't really have it these days, but I'm hoping that high altitude will make my lungs feel even better. So
are you going to buy a grill?
I wasn't planning on it. Should I?
GoSun solar oven. If you don't want ads, you got to Google it privately, but it's a solar thing in you can cook with it, but it also has an electric port, so you can warm it even if it's the sun goes away.
It's a camp stove?
It's a grill.
Okay, so Go Sun Sport, $249. Damn it. It's pretty cool. Are you still there? No, you're gone. Solar ovens.
There, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay.
So it collects the sun and cooks whatever you got there. It looks like they've got some tomatoes and habaneros.
Yeah, I'd say it's about a gallon or two, but it gets up to pretty hot, and then it's amazing for vegetables.
Oh, so you put it in this drum and it cooks them?
Yeah, it's just stand. It just it folds up and it opens up, and yeah, it's just there.
Oh, it's an oven. It's not a grill.
Yeah, well, it can replace a grill technically, kind of.
Oh yeah. Look, this guy's eating meat out of it.
It's a smaller version, a different one, but the other one's bigger. I watched a video last night. The guy's doing sweet potatoes on it, but yeah, the $400 one is kind of nice. But yeah, it's a solar vacuum tube, and then they cook inside of it. I would put aluminum foil in before I cooked in it, as opposed to what they're just cooking in the.
It's cooking right into it. It looks like it's stainless steel or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so for $109, I could just cook stuff in with the sun.
Tiny one, but the bigger one, that one there has a little electric plug.
Oh, I see that.
So even if the sun goes out, you can preheat or finish it off.
Well, that sounds like something I would not want to do because I have an oven in the house. Why would I need a fucking? But I love
because you're in the middle of the desert and it's hot and you don't want the heat in the house. And if you get this one, you won't have to buy propane for your grill.
Look how little it is. $200. It's a cool little thing.
That's a little one. The big one's $400. It's got like a 4-inch. That one there has like a 4-inch diameter.
It looks like their picnic table is solar. It's a solar panel.
So this one, they have different versions of this one where there's a battery pack that you can plug into the power spot, so you can charge solar battery, and then the battery can also help heat the oven.
They got girls in bikinis using it. Now I'm sold. As soon as they should have started now. They should have started with the girls in bikinis. Man, now I'm in. If I have one of these, can I get some girls in bikinis?
Yeah, you had me at boobs.
Yeah. I mean, if I have one of these, the girls in bikinis will be coming all over me. Oh, look at they're cooking shrimps. Hold on. This one's got a solar paneled cooler with no ice. Okay. Oh, I like the solar kitchen though. Look at this shit.
Ooh.
This is a solar kitchen.
Yeah, with a ice box.
It's sold out. They got an ice box, a solar panel on the table. I don't know. It's just a speaker. I don't know what this is. What is it?
I think it's a battery. That last bit, but
I think it's a battery.
Yeah, but just the big one's $400. And one thing I don't like
is a battery. You nailed it. It's a battery. You're right. I don't know. I kind of love the idea of this solar powered table though, but whatever. This is great. You're right. I should get one of these. I can have.
If you're gonna buy a grill, get a solar grill because you won't even have to buy propane or hook it up to your gas line or smell the grease on your cooking.
I wasn't thinking about using a solar powered of any kind of grill, but I like this idea very much. I generally don't grill because I have the indoor ability to cook.
Yeah, but oh man, you get a 100-degree day, you think twice before you turn on that oven.
That's true. I guess you're right. Maybe, but in the I guess you're right. In the summer, I use my bread machine to make bread, so I don't use the oven as much in the summer. You're right, but you're not really making baked goods that much in the summer anyway.
I wonder if it can do cookies okay.
Probably there'll be like little disc looking cookie. Like I guess all cookies look like discs, but these will look like little tacos because they're it's hot. Solar gets a flame, or is it electric heat? It looks like it's just solar, and then you can hook it up with electricity to make it hotter for some reason.
It might have a little pressurization effect because it kind of locks on there, so it might pressure steam stuff.
A little pressure cooker, a little bit of a pressure cooker. Yeah, as the pressure increases, it needs less temperature to cook. Interesting idea. Beautiful.
One thing I don't like just looking at the design is these little feet. It just looks like if the wind hit it, it could just fall over.
It'll fly away.
So you gotta just clamp a foot down or something.
It's a cool thing. It could cook it. It could cool it. It can charge. It could do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Looks rad. Cool. All right, let's do the last one. Let's do your funny business. You ready?
Alrighty.
All right, here we go.
How do you measure dead weight? In Lindsey Grahams.
Too soon? Too soon?
Love it.
Oh, really? It is? Oh, I never went south of Fruitvale. Yeah. Wait, is this some sort of gay innuendo you're doing to me right now?
South of Fruitvale. You know, Fruitvale is is where that guy got shot, right?
Go south of Fruitville? That's where my asshole is.
Fruitville. I don't know. Maybe he's not talking about the same Fruitville I'm talking about. Lindsey Grahams. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, you had the World Cup and then the Grams, so relevant.
I like it.
All right.
Fire table. I was thinking about getting a fire pit to go in the backyard. I think about getting a fire pit out there. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. But that'd be fun. Tomorrow, I don't think I'm going to go live, everybody. It's going to be a weird thing, but tomorrow I have to take my car in and get it repaired so that I could do the big trip and everything. So tomorrow I will not be going live traditionally anyway. I'll probably still go live, but not for the Morning Sky Show. So the Morning Sky Show is canceled tomorrow, everybody. Sorry. I appreciate you being here, though. Thanks, Guy Fawkes. Thank you for being here, man.
All righty. Maybe you should stream your drive to the new house.
I think I will. I need to get one of those little Verizon pucks. I'm thinking I might. I want to try to get. Do you remember when I was driving and streaming?
No.
Were you around? I used to stream. I was driving around America, and I would do these like 10-hour streams where I'm just driving a truck, and it was really fun, and it kept me company, and I really liked it, and a lot of people liked it too. So I think I want to do that again. I got to get like some kind of suction cup so I could have it on the road, but I think it's totally doable. I think it'd be really cool to do it. But Smoke and Blondie says, thanks, Guy Fawkes. Yes. Thank you, Guy Fawkes. I think that's a great idea. Maybe I'll do that.
Blondie.
All right. Well, I appreciate you very much for stopping by, and I'll see you on the other side. Thank you,
all right.
Guy Fawkes. Pieces. All right. Guy Fawkes is gone, and I am gone too. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, you, Sky, a toaster griddle to king an unfashionable habit of letting evidence finish speaking before we do. Thank you so much. Become a channel member. Sky City Rebels get extra streams, extra content, and extra love in the chat. And I love you so much, Sky City Rebels. And thanks to the moderators, and thanks to everyone who put a gem or a super chat. There were a lot of you. Thank you so much. We got Gore, we got Gravy, we got whoever gave, we got Harman Sarwar, we got Steffelson, Melissa Sweetser, and Harman Sarwar. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you very much, and thank you, Sky City Rebels. Like I said, I can't do the Morning Sky Show tomorrow, but I will be here for the big event later. I'll do something. We'll do something. I'll be online, so make sure you got that bell icon on and all that shit. All right, thanks everybody. Illegitimate non-carb random. Don't let the bastards grind you down, because I need you. We need each other, and the animals need us most of all. Godspeed, Rebel.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so friggin' much.